exist only in old David Attenborough documentaries. In other news, the government is gaslighting us on the cost of gas. And the one thing this country are better at than anyone is dying thanks to this regime's dismal inability to negotiate anything more difficult than getting out of bed. And we find the only public sector pay rise that the Tories don't think will cause inflation. Can you guess who's getting it? That and more coming up with me, Nick Abbott, after the new news at 10 on LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 10 o'clock, the Spanish World Cup winning team say they refuse to play any further matches until its Football Federation leadership is removed. The president of the country's FA says he will not resign after kissing midfielder Jenny Hermoso on the lips at Sunday's final. Luis Rubiales claims to be the victim of a witch hunt. Spanish football journalist Semra Hunter has told LBC it was difficult to watch.
I personally would call it deeply upsetting, very disconcerting, not just because of his behavior, how entitled and how arrogant he was and how brazen he was in defending what he believes to be that he's done nothing wrong, but the people in the audience that were applauding him.
Russian investigators claim to have found the flight recorders at the crash site where a plane went down on Wednesday. Wagner boss Yevgeny Prigozhin is believed to have been on board and among the 10 victims. Well, earlier, the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, says he is most likely dead.
Our intelligence suggests that Prigozhin was most likely on the plane. We're obviously monitoring the situation very closely, working with our allies to establish what happened. But the most important thing here is for Putin to end his illegal invasion of Ukraine.
The Kremlin says claims Vladimir Putin ordered an assassination are an absolute lie. Residents from a building in East London where a huge fire has broken out have been told they may not be allowed back inside until Sunday. The fire in Bow caused thick black smoke to pour into the air above the city this evening. Around 100 firefighters are on the scene. MPs have revealed plans to attempt to oust Nadine Dorries next month following growing calls for her to follow through with her vow to resign. The Liberal Democrats will table a bill when Parliament returns a week on Monday. The MP for Mid-Bedfordshire announced she would step down with immediate effect in June in protest at not receiving a peerage. And there are calls for further government support despite a fall in the energy price cap this winter. Campaigners say bills will remain largely unchanged as a result of higher standing charges and less help for families. In the city, the FTSE 100 has closed up 4 points at 73.38. The pound buys $1.25 and €1.16. LBC weather showers continuing for northwest Scotland overnight. These will push into southwest Scotland, Northern Ireland and western England later. Drier for the southeast with a low of 8 degrees. From Global's newsroom for LBC, I'm Daryl Jackson.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
So, hello.
Well, let's get back to it.
Brits hoping for a summery bank holiday clearly have not been living here very long. In fact, that should be a test of residency. What kind of weather do Brits normally get for bank holidays? And anyone who gets it wrong is pushed back out to sea and let them drown. It's Home Office policy. Brits hoping for a summery bank holiday have had their hopes dashed as the weekend is set to bring cool temperatures, heavy showers and risk of thunderstorms. Or, as it's known around these parts, perfectly normal weather for August. Revellers heading to major events, including but not limited to England's Rugby World Cup. Is there a Rugby World Cup? I had no idea. It's a warm-up game against Fiji, wherever that is. There's also the Notting Hill Carnival. Anybody want to go?
No.
I haven't wanted to go to that for, blimey, what year is it now? 2023. Let's see now. About 40 years. Thanks, but no thanks. And Reading and Leeds festivals and Manchester Pride. They'll all have to take their umbrellas as conditions are set to be constantly changeable. While conditions will settle a bit more for Sunday and Monday, the Met Office is forecasting a washout for Saturday. Met Office Deputy Chief Meteorologist Steve said, areas to the southeast will see fewer showers with more in the way of bright or sunny spells on Saturday and Sunday. Areas further north and west will see more frequent showers, some of which will be heavy. And Met Office Deputy Chief Meteorologist Steve is no fool because, of course, the north and the west will see more frequent showers, particularly the northwest, I bet. Checking while you wait. Aha! Well, it's raining. It's sort of raining at the moment. Let's say not. Let's be generous. It's not raining right now in Glasgow, but it will be raining tomorrow, and it'll be raining on Sunday, and not raining on Monday. Pfft, rubbish. And raining on Tuesday, and raining on Wednesday, and raining on Thursday, and raining on Friday, and not raining next Saturday. But raining on Sunday and raining on Monday, and then you've got a couple of days of dry, and then it will rain. Every day for the rest of your life, I expect. Elsewhere, tonight there's expected to be heavy showers, which will continue into tomorrow. Sunday, another day of sunshine and showers, possibly thundery, lightning, very, very frightening. The outlook, Sunday to Monday, slightly better, not much. And this could be the last of summer. Am I right in thinking that last year we had instant autumn on September the 1st? Well, we might have beat that. I think it might be instant autumn this weekend. Would you like to hear the long-range forecast for the next 4 weeks?
No.
No, I don't blame you. Right, next 2 weeks until the end of the first week of September. Blimey, it's September already. Can you believe that? It's practically Jesus' birthday. Right. This week and next week, at first, generally unsettled. You know, like the country was when we heard that Fishy Sunak had for the umpteenth time unintentionally forgotten that because of his family's vast investment portfolio and business interests that he was likely to personally benefit from government policy. Again.
This government will have integrity, professionalism and accountability at every level.
At no level. 0 levels. I'm getting a bit off track. Early September are likely to stay changeable with a mixture of sunny spells and showers. Temperatures may feel cool. That's the next couple of weeks. And then, the middle 2 weeks of September. Here we go, everybody. This is it. Fingers crossed. There is a possibility of high pressure, which could lead to some more prolonged dry spells, and temperatures may become slightly above average approaching the middle of the month. There's a possibility of high pressure which could lead to some more prolonged dry spells and temperatures may become slightly above average approaching the middle of the month. We'll take it. Here is a suspiciously keen caller in Chingford. Hello, John.
Oh, hi, Nick. Did you have a nice birthday?
I did, thank you. I did, yes. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Was it nectarines all round?
That's Christmas.
Oh, okay. They're still in season. I've got a two-parter.
Oh, nectarines. I was thinking tangerines. Nectarines. Yes, it's almost the end of nectarine season.
Yeah,
it's very, very sad.
I've got a two-parter, but I've got a link from one to the other, if that makes any sense.
Well, not so far, but go on.
No, but I mean, first there's Billy Bragg's response to this god-awful song by this ginger-bearded dobro picking weirdo. Anthony,
Are you talking about Jeremy Corbyn? Jeremy
No.
Corbyn?
No, Oliver Anthony. It's caused a viral sensation.
Oh, not in my house, John. I've never heard of it.
No, but Billy's written a sort of it's gone viral.
Great.
It's like,
okay. Can I not hear it? I'm begging you.
I've done it for you. I mean, it starts off like a Woody Guthrie sort of protest song about hard workers.
Are
And,
you still talking about Billy
people.
Bragg?
No, I'm talking about Oliver Anthony.
Oh, right.
Oliver Anthony's done this song. It starts off like a Woody Guthrie song.
Who is Oliver Anthony? Nobody has any idea. Bearded weirdo, Jeremy Corbyn in disguise. Yes, we've heard.
He's a bearded weirdo who picks the dobro.
Right.
But as I say, it starts off like a Woody Guthrie song, but then it kind of segues into short, chubby people on benefits. It's sort of...
Are they his backing singers?
No. But anyway, GB News loved it. That's where it's American, obviously. It's one of these new neocon artists. But anyway, enough of him. I mean, Billy Bragg's written a sort of antidote song to Oliver Anthony's song.
John, you lost me at Billy Bragg. What else have you got?
Oh, did I?
Yes.
Okay, well, anyway, I think he listens to the show, so he might phone in and put us
Oh,
anyway,
yeah, sure he does. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, on my other bit, a compadre of
A what
Billy
now?
Bragg, a singer-songwriter called Eric Anderson, he wrote a song like in the Nixon era, which a jaunty sort of ballad, but it had a kind of political subtext. And I thought, wow, it could have been written yesterday about Richie Sunak. Because the song's called Sign of a Desperate Man. It's Eric Anderson, S-E-N, as opposed to Son. And it's just the way the Tories are bigging up the economy. I mean, they're coming out with all these whoppers. Probably the Brexiteers will be, sort of believe it. But you had Mark Francois last week talking about this.
In the old vaudeville days, there's like a big shepherd's hook that appears from the side of the stage and yanks off the act.
Oh, is that what's happening to me?
I'm afraid so, yeah. What was that about? Does anybody have any idea?
No.
It was something about Billy Bragg and short, tubby people on benefits. Something like that. I've got no idea. But, it's only my own show. Why would I have any clue as to what's going on here? Sue emails, looking at Donald Trump's latest shenanigans, especially that very weird mugshot. Yeah, but he looked like the Joker from Batman.
Don't be rude.
His mugshot. Plus, in a mugshot, you're not supposed to be looking up through your eyebrows, are you? You're supposed to be flat against a wall with, it looked like he took his own lighting in there with him. I thought you had to stand by a thing that showed how high you were and hold a number in front of you, not look like you're posing for Times Man of the Year. Anyway, he says, Sue says, just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, they do. And now I am perplexed and befuddled. I mean, what a palaver. I just don't get why even one single American voter could be taken in by this great big orange buffoon. If I had to pick another world leader who would it's like a pamphlet. Yeah, okay, Sue, you don't like him. I get it. 0345 6060 973. Is there something in the air? Because it's been affecting this programme for, it seems like ages now. I mean, it's been on for 15 minutes. And the next caller is it's Ranjit.
Oh, no.
Oh, come on. I mean, I like Ranjit's calls and all, but, Daryl says, so the England Lionesses lost in the final. Oh, by the way, I'm on Team Women's Spain. Oh, maybe I think if we turn this show off and on again, do you think that would work? I'm with the Spanish women's team. I'm on Team España. Get rid of that bloke. You have the power, women. Use it. And that he's saying, he's like standing still, digging his heels in. Oh, these women can't push me around. Oh, yeah, they can. You need them more than they need you. Anyway, Darryl says, so the England Lionesses lost in the final. And do you know why? It's because people like you just don't believe you. Did you learn nothing after not believing in Brexit, says Darryl. Jan says, MPs losing their seat at the next election will get their winding up pay doubled. Yeah, talk about a wind-up. I'll go over that in depth. Makes your blood boil, doesn't it, says Jan. Yes, it does. Glasgow. Hello, Craig.
Oh, hi, Nick. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Yeah, so I was phoning to have a chat about our colleagues across the pond. About, Donald Trump obviously getting his mugshot and things. I think, I wonder a lot because it's not something that's spoke about what happens in 4 years' time. Because you think about it, if Trump wins, which, to be fair, in terms of the Republican nomination, he will win that. And sad as it is to say, he's probably the best option they've got because the rest of them are spineless. I mean, I don't know if you've seen... Yeah,
Looney Tunes. Yeah, Bugs Bunny would fit right in.
I don't know if you've seen the clip when they were asked about if Trump was convicted, would they still, send him to the White House? And 6 of them raised their hands, and you just think that I mean,
he's going to get the Republican nomination. He's going to get the Republican nomination. It just depends on how many of the American people are poorly educated enough to put him in the White House.
I love the poorly educated.
You bet you do, Donny.
Yeah, exactly. But the crazy thing is, of course, he can only serve one term because he's already had one. So the way their rules work, he'll have 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
But then what happens after that? Because it won't necessarily go away quietly. We know that.
He's not going to go away at all. He tried his best, his level best, not to go away the first time. Do you think he's going to make that mistake again? He's going to change the rule. If he gets in again, there won't be another election.
Yeah, do you know, there's every possibility that could happen. Because I wonder, do you think that he could get the Constitution changed to get a third term?
Absolutely. He can do anything he blooming well likes.
That is...
Never mind about a third term. He'll do a Putin. He'll just be there forever. I think it's the end of the world as we know it if Donald Trump gets the White House again. I think the first time around he was just stretching his fingers into the glove of being president. If he gets in again, he's going to burst through the ends of those gloves.
Oh, shut up!
That's a pretty torturous analogy, but I'm going to use it anyway.
Yeah, well, the thing is because he's got that almost cultish ability about him.
Not almost.
He can make himself a martyr.
He is a cult
victim.
leader. He's a cult leader.
Yeah, he is. And he's always a victim. Sometimes I wonder if it's me that's going mad, if it's me that's missed something. Because people, sometimes I hear people talk about, he's being persecuted for free speech because of this. He took active steps to try and stop an election, a democratically free election. It doesn't make
the slightest bit of difference what evidence you put in front of people. They have chosen their religious leader and they will not change their mind, Craig. You are wasting your time. But thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Your husband may be going to jail, Melania.
I don't care.
She's not that bothered.
LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Some whack job can say this stuff and get away with it?
Tom texts, I wonder why Trump pulled that pose for his mugshot. He looks like a baby in need of a nappy change.
Don't be rude.
He's trying to look, he's trying to look scary is what he's trying to look. Trying to look like a tough guy instead of the doughy bag of fat that he actually is. 0345 6060 973. Woking. Jeff.
Hello, Nick.
Yes, Jeff.
Your producer asked me if I've got a fish and chip shop in Wolverhampton. I said no. He said, thank God for that.
That's very disappointing. If you did have a fish and chip shop, what would you be frying tonight?
Well, funny enough, I did go up there the other week to his fish and chip shop, and just he was about to close, and I said, excuse me, I said, have you got any chips left? He'd got loads. I said, well, you shouldn't have cooked so many, should you? Let's be honest. But no, I was a little bit concerned, Nick,
no. It's getting worse.
Well, I'm here all week, Nick, but the thing is, I was a little bit concerned, a bit disturbed about hearing of Prince Andrew. He's been
He's been what?
He's been contacted unofficially by Priti Patel's people.
Hang on a minute, Jeff. Is this another joke?
No. Well, it could turn out to be, but the thing is, they've been having discussions, Prince Andrew's people and Priti Patel's people, about reinstating his security.
Yeah.
Because he was stripped of his security over that misdemeanors, But the thing is, the king, his big brother, King Charles, has already handed out an olive branch by inviting him up to Balmoral. So I think something's in the air. And also, Priti Patel is interested as to whether he's kept his helicopter pilot licence going.
Why?
And I've heard from a source that they're talking about having a shuttle service from London to Rwanda to try and cut back on some of the costs of sending people out to Rwanda. Prince.
It was a torturous route, but we got there in the end. Is that it?
Well, yes.
Okay, excellent work. Appreciate it, Jeff.
Thank you.
0345 6060 973. I want you to understand that this programme is not my fault. Here's the story. Disgraced Prince Andrew has... You know Prince Andrew, don't you? No! Yeah, that's him. Has launched a bid to win back his £3 million a year taxpayer-funded armed security detail.
Oh, right, yeah.
The Duke of York, 63, was stripped of police protection after paying millions of pounds to settle a civil sex assault case with somebody he's never met. He's just generous like that. The Sun reveals that the royal outcast is fighting back despite being banished from frontline duties. Frontline? When was he ever in the front line, duty-wise? She has won the backing of won the backing of Priti Patel.
Oh, no.
I mean, blimey. Talk about another nail in the coffin. Your Priti Patel is in your team. She's emailed King Charles' top aide suggesting a review of the Duke's protection could be something to consider. Yeah, let's think about that for a moment.
No.
Yeah, it's a no. Patel also referred to the ditching of Prince Harry's security detail, but Chaz's, Uncle Chaz, King Chaz, his private secretary, Sir Clive Alderton, has no power over royal security arrangements, and Patel was forced to apologise to the King when her approach was leaked yesterday. What on earth is happening in this country? I mean, this country is being run worse than this show. You believe that? Oldbury, Ranjit.
Hiya, Nick. You
yes,
okay?
sir. Fine, thanks.
Yeah, I've been really angry for a week, but I'm going to keep calm while I'm talking to you.
Okay, maintain calm.
Maintain calm and maintain, radio etiquette.
Yes.
I want to talk about I'm a nutcase, Nigel Farage. Yeah.
Oh.
You're talking about how low can people go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, basically, in India they play a game which is like British Bulldog, and they have tournaments, and there was a big fight in Derby, but we'll move away from there. He's put out a report on GB News.
What is British Bulldog?
I don't know, it's like rugby, I don't know, that's what he mentioned. It's called kabaddi in India, yeah? It's a big game where it's like you have to tag the other person and bring them down, and like wrestling and running and forget that. I just want to talk about Farage.
Aren't you describing rugby?
It's like rugby without a ball, though. Yeah, I want to talk about Farage. I want to talk about what an idiot he is. Yeah, and if he wants to sue me, yeah.
Hang on a minute, Ranjit. He's not going to sue you, is he? He's going to sue me.
Okay, you're giving me a chance, right, to air my anger at him, yeah, because he's put out a video, yeah, where he's spoken to somebody from the Henry Jackson Society, which is supposed to control terrorism, right? What happened, like at a football match when there's an aggro between two gangs, yeah? Okay? What he's bought into it, on this GB News with his Fisher-Price glasses on, yeah? He turned around and he said, well, I've been told that these extremists have infiltrated this country, right? And they call them the Khalistanis, yeah? The people that want an independent state for the Sikhs in India. He's on about them. He's carried on talking a load of waffle for 6 minutes, and then he goes, I've heard that it's not true.
Here,
but
Ranjit, why are you watching that programme that makes you so angry?
I didn't watch a programme. Someone sent me a video. It's on WhatsApp. Anyway.
Somebody sent you a video?
He goes, these Sikhs are coming across on the dinghies. That's how far he's gone. I'm a Sikh. I was born in this country. I've contributed to this country. When the COVID was on, right, all around the world, the Sikhs provided food for the homeless. Right, and that's what he's bringing, because he's got no one else to fight no more, right? Because he tried to be the representative of the people with his banking thing. What I'm saying is, why does he peddle fake news for?
Because it makes people like you furious, and it makes and if you get angry, then it fires up his base, and they love it.
I want him to go to America and walk around with Trump.
There. And just stay there. Yeah. Okay, all right. Ranjit, just calm. I haven't enjoyed this first half hour of this programme at all, and it's my birthday week. You believe that? Just take a breath, Ranjit, and enjoy this.
I'm immensely grateful to you for everything you've done in British politics over the last few years. I used to be an ardent Remainer. I voted Remain. I believed in the European project.
Mm-hmm.
I believed that staying in the European Union was the best thing for us. And then something happened, and something monumental happened. It completely changed my opinion on the whole situation.
What was that monumental thing, Mark?
I was kicked in the head by a horse.
Right, very good. Okay, fine. Thank you.
No, thank you. Are you feeling better, Ranjit? No, he's still talking. He's still talking. God. Ranjit, take a breath. Do you feel better now?
I feel totally better now.
Totally better. There, 100% success.
I am totally 100% on it.
He is 100% on it, and so am I. Finally, we got there. Only took about, 28 minutes. Excellent work. Thanks a lot, Ranjit. Keep that fire burning. James says, how has Russia ending their... This makes no sense. How has Russia ending their illegal invasion of Ukraine suddenly... Oh, it does make sense. Shall I start it again?
No.
How has Russia ending their illegal invasion of Ukraine suddenly become the number one priority? What about the boat? Hey, Fishy, what about the boats?
The country's priority is to stop the boats. And at the same time, I think people know that I'm relentlessly focusing on stopping the boats. And I'm relentlessly focused on stopping the boats.
Yeah, sure. Up day and night, yeah. It's not working for you, is it? I mean, what's the polling now? Labour are on about 50%, and the Tories are going to lose all of their seats, bar about a small handful. And Fishy is going to be out in his massive ear as well. So, all of that performative cruelty, all of that pointing at foreigners, it's not working. And so what's the plan now, Fishy? What have you got up your tiny little sleeve for us now? Is there a plan B? Because plan A is burnt out like a damp squib. Damp squibs don't burn. That's the whole point of being a damp squib. I wonder what they're going to do next, because I don't imagine, apart from the European Court of Human Rights thing, which is going to be Brexit Part 2. The only reason that Brexit it didn't bring all of the things that we promised.
We could have cheaper food, clothing and footwear straight away.
The reason is because of lefty lawyers and activist militants and all the rest of that. So we've got to leave the European Court of Human Rights, and only then will freedom be reached. So that is what they've got up there, up Fishy Sunak's tiny little sleeves. It's just so predictable. They're going to point at foreigners, and if that doesn't do the trick, then we've got to take away all of the rights of all of these lefty lawyers, as though a lawyer could be lefty. The thing is, they don't believe any of this stuff. They think you're stupid enough to believe it, but they don't believe it. That's what's really annoying. Fishy Sunak is not a stupid man, and neither are the people who he surrounds himself with. They're not stupid. It's worse than that. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC. It's 10:30, the news headlines with Daryl Jackson.
Looking smart for a new school year. If you want some quality, George has got the gear. Uniforms that are tough, George is just what you need. With reinforced knees, gonna hit those gates and play as much as I please. Quality schoolwear that stands the test of school time from £3, only at Georgia Asda. In a poll of 40 NetMoms members, 98% would recommend Georgia Asda schoolwear to a friend. Selected as the stores, subject to availability. Delivery charges may apply.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
This guy is sick. There's something wrong with this guy.
Let's talk to Brighton and Max.
Hi, Nick. I'm always slightly nervous when I talk to you because I love your show, but never mind. We'll carry on from that.
Right.
Quickly.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's this. As far as Donald Trump is concerned, it's very parallel to Boris Johnson, but we're dealing with different countries. And what I feel is that Trump is playing totally on the kind of heart, the fundamental of America, which is the Wild West. The pioneering spirit, people coming across, starting from nothing. Relatively a short time ago, if you like, 150 years ago, people were shooting each other for ranches and land and everything
They
else.
still are.
I know.
In America, 150 years ago, they were shooting each other. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that's the understanding. It's not the answer. And I think the answer is perhaps for, hopefully, the same what happened here, which was when Boris Johnson played the same card, if you like, when he was saying, okay, but we're an imperial, we're wonderful, we're Great Britain, purely for his own ego, same as Trump. And in the end...
Did you get that? Yes? Blimey. This show is absolutely bizarre so far. It's like I've been parachuted into someone else's show. I mean, he seemed like a reasonable person, but he dropped a builder's language way out of nowhere.
Disgusting.
I can't believe it. Gary says, did you see that MPs have increased their redundancy pay? Yes, I did. I'll deal with that in a minute. Leave it with me. I've got detailed files. Right, let's see what this... He said with an element of trepidation. Let's see what this one's like. Merthyr Tydfil. Hello, Jeff.
Yeah, it's a good show tonight.
Yeah. Grate.
Right. Who's the guy? I watched this Republican thing on out in America, and this semicircle of complete Neanderthals. And right in the middle was a guy that I can't remember his name, I can't even pronounce it, gets up and says, it's a big hoax. All this global warming, climate change, it's a hoax.
Yeah.
Well, and the crowd cheered, the Neanderthals didn't link on like they all cheered, didn't they? Right? On the same day that the guys out in Antarctica on the scientific study going on out there, reckons it's the worst possible year for emperor penguins. The ice is disappearing. 10,000 chicks drowned to death, sort of thing. I mean, here you have evidence pouring in of what's going on. And you've got this cheering the fact...
It's not just America, it's here too. Unfortunately, this sort of infection is all over the internet, and anybody with a gullible mindset is going to be pulled in by this idea that it's got nothing to do with the human beings, is climate change. And it all goes back to, I am absolutely certain... money coming out of the oil and gas industries who are funding lobbyists and bots online, and it's just been taken up by people who don't want to change their life or who have been convinced that being considerate for others, including other species, and being concerned for the only planet that we live on is somehow woke.
Yeah. I mean, I can't get my head around it either. But the whole point being, it's your birthday week, Nick.
Yes.
You got to cheer up.
I know.
There's a terrific drink going to go on in the Goose and Cuckoo in Upper Hanover.
Is that right?
I just discovered. Yeah, you would never been to that pub. You want to come down and have a pint. It's terrific.
The Goose and Cuckoo. Make it a date. I'll be there. I'll be second to the bar. You get the round in, and I promise to get the next one. All right.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. Okay, here's that story. Not a happy story. That's a warning. A catastrophic die-off of emperor penguin chicks has been observed in the Atlantic, with up to 10,000 documentaries of them having to be cancelled. I'm sorry, that should read, with up to 10,000 young birds estimated to have been killed.
Oh, no.
10,000. The sea ice underneath the chicks melted and broke apart before they could develop the waterproof feathers needed to swim in the ocean. The birds most likely drowned or froze to death. Not a happy story. This has given Suella Braverman ideas, and setting asylum seekers on melting ice is being held up as a possible solution to the small boats invasion.
The country's priority is to stop the boats, and at the same time, I think people know that I'm relentlessly focused
on stopping the boats. Yeah, night and day you're working. Yeah, we heard. The event late last year occurred in the west of the continent in an area fronting onto the Bellinghausen Sea. It was recorded by satellites. Dr. Peter Fretwell, which is his actual name and not something I made up, Dr. Peter Fretwell, out of the British Antarctic Survey, said the wipeout was a harbinger of things to come. He said, emperor penguins depend on sea ice for their breeding cycle. It's the stable platform they use to bring up their young. But if that ice is not as extensive as it should be, or breaks up faster, these birds are in trouble. He says there is hope. We can cut our carbon emissions that are causing the warming, but if we don't, we're going to drive these iconic, beautiful birds to the edge of extinction. Well, if that's the case, then I think we can wave those birds.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Been nice knowing you. I mean, if it's a choice between exterminating millions of animals versus carrying on denying that climate change is a thing, then we have already made our decision, and it is final. Dr. Fretwell and the scientists tracked 5 colonies in the Bellinghausen Sea sector at Rothschild Island, Verde Inlet, Smiley Island, Brighton Peninsula and Fonga Point. And none of those names should obscure the point that Dr. Fretwell and the scientists would be an excellent name for a rock band.
Rock and roll!
Who's with me? Using the EU's satellites... Their satellites, they were able to observe the penguins' activity from the excrement that they left on the white sea ice, the brown staining visible from space.
What?
Adult birds jump out onto the sea ice around March as the southern hemisphere winter approaches. Then they court and copulate.
Disgusting.
They lay eggs which hatch, and then a few months after, it's time for the young to head out into the ocean. But... huge, great, wobbly penguin butt. The sea ice melted under them before thousands of chicks had time to grow the feathers needed for swimming. Antarctic summer ice has been on a sharp downturn since 2016, with the total area of frozen water around the continent diminishing to new record lows. And that's the clue, for people who still do not believe. When you hear the word record or unprecedented in weather reports, that's the climate going haywire, which is either God's revenge for rainbow flags, or it's us mugs for prioritising our short-term convenience for the long-term stability of the place that we call home. At the other end of the planet, the Arctic, the sea ice has been in a decades-long steady decline. The Antarctic, which is what I'm talking about, seemed more robust up until 2016. Dr. Caroline, an expert on Antarctic sea ice, said, what we're seeing right now is so far outside what we observed previously. We expected change, but I don't think we expected so much change so rapidly. And pinned the blame on climate warming. But as she is only an expert in possession of facts, no one was remotely interested in anything she had to say.
Correct.
Currently, emperor penguins are classified as near threatened by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, the organisation that keeps the lists of Earth's most endangered animals. And it's all our fault. Penguins are people too, 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Luton. Adam.
Oi, oi. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. So I was just calling because this week, the British Museum scandal, and I've just been really fascinated by the whole story.
Yeah.
Because, just the optics of it, there's a lot of shout and powder for a lot of people that have been stolen from. Because, some of the reasons that we give for why we can't give them back their looted goods is because, patronisingly, we don't think that they could look after it. And then
yeah,
next thing we know, we've got splinter cell infiltrating archaeologists, stealing back the goods from the people who stole it in the first place.
That is a good
And it's
point.
just like
Yeah, we're keeping hold of it because you primitive people can't keep control. They can't keep these precious items safely, and then they think, oh, what precious item? Oh, hell, there's another cabinet empty. Where the heck's it gone?
And and even further than that, there's like another story that came out this week of some criminals who had stolen Ming vase 10 years ago, and they also got caught with it. So it's just like we can't seem to be keeping anything at the moment.
Yeah.
Everything's up for sale or going to end up on bargain hunt.
Well,
and it's just really
that was a big mistake, taking it to the Antiques Roadshow. Huge mistake.
Well, yeah, and we don't think how it comes across to people when we, up until now, we've been saying stuff like we should be proud of slavery. They had the Caribbean experience, and then then we wonder why these people are like don't have a preference for us when we ask them to take sides against Russia.
Yeah.
Or like right now, a lot of the African nations are cozying up to Russia and at this BRICS thing, but it's because, well, why would you when you've stolen their goods and you told them they should be grateful for it? It just doesn't really add up.
Yes.
So it's a sad story, but it's got like people always say the only reason why the pyramids are still in Egypt is because England couldn't put it in its pocket, and we're the only country that when you go to their national museum doesn't seem to have anything English. It all seems to be Elgin Morgans from Greece, Benin Bronzes from Nigeria. I went there and I couldn't find anything from Cornwall.
Yes. stuff we've nicked from other countries. That's our history. We barge into other countries, shoot anybody that doesn't like it, nick all their best stuff and force them to play cricket. All right, thanks a lot, Adam. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
Thank you for holding. Your call's important to us.
Wanstead. Hello, Sophie. Oh, Sophie. Yes, Sophie.
Happy birthday, Nick.
Thanks, Sophie.
Ringing to say happy birthday. And
wait. This is another one of these lines where it, for some reason, chops off the first word of every sentence that you utter. I don't quite know why that is or how that happens, but every now and again we get a line like that, so we'll try and call you back. We'll try and call her back. We appreciate your cooperation.
Thank you.
Alice texts, and starting a sentence with and a new epitome of adding insult to injury as full stop. Does any of this show make sense yet?
No.
Alice texts, and a new epitome of adding insult to injury as Putin sends a letter of condolence to Prigozhin's relatives. That's probably not supposed to be a full stop there. Never mind. And just ditch a new epitome of adding insult to injury as Putin sends a letter of condolence to Prigozhin's relatives. Yeah, like the mafia, going to execute all of your family and then send you a bunch of flowers saying sorry for your loss.
Absolutely.
Archie says Putin refuses to get on a plane to go to the BRICS meeting. I wonder why. Yeah, curious, ain't it? Oh, let's see what this line's like. Wanstead, Sophie.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Oh, fantastic. Happy birthday.
Oh, thanks.
And you're 64.
No. No.
I thought you were.
No.
What is your cake of choice, Nick?
I'd like a chocolate cake. But let me be absolutely clear about this. I don't want you to send me one. I don't want anybody to send me a chocolate cake.
Double chocolate? Does the sponge have to be chocolate?
Not necessarily, no.
Oh, okay. I was hoping you'd say Victoria sponge.
Why?
Because that's the best one, obviously.
Well, what's a Victoria sponge when it's at home?
So a plain sponge with raspberry jam and buttercream in the middle.
Ugh. A plain sponge? Well, what's on top of it?
Nothing, just spice and
Nothing?
sugar. Mm.
That's a rubbish cake.
with a mug of tea. That's the birthday cake of choice, I think.
I'm with you on the tea part, because coffee's too thick to enjoy with a cake, in my opinion. Tea, you want like a pot of tea, because you need a lot of liquid to get that cake down.
And I hate to say it, but I do dip. The cake into the tea.
Into the tea. No, biscuits, yes, because it has some sort of, it has a certain rigidity to a biscuit. So it can soak up a certain amount of liquid before falling apart. But not a cake. How can you dip a cake into tea?
You split the Victoria sponge and then you dip the sponge into the cake.
You dip the sponge
really nice.
into the cake? No, you don't mean that, do you?
I'm a Philistine. No, you do. It's nice. You should try it.
You dip the sponge into the tea, you mean? Not the sponge in... Never mind.
Oh, into the tea.
Into
yes.
the tea, right.
But
okay.
the other thing is, I don't want to bring this up because it's your birthday week.
But
that Trump, the picture of Trump was scary.
It was a little bit... It was intended to be scary. He did look like the Joker out of Batman.
And the thing is, why wasn't he wearing an orange jumpsuit like all mugshots?
I don't think mugshots actually have jumpsuits necessarily, but I do. I would have expected them to tell him to raise his head up. You saw the mugshots of some of the people that were arrested along with him, and that's not. They aren't mugshots. People were smiling, like grinning, like they were having their birthday photograph taken. You're supposed to be. You're supposed to hold a piece of like a card with your number on it against a board that shows how tall you are. He said he was 6'3" and 215 pounds. Somebody pointed out that those are the exact measurements of Muhammad Ali at his fighting best. Does Donald Trump look like the physical embodiment of Muhammad Ali?
Please,
no.
Please do not say those two names in the same sentence. Muhammad Ali was the greatest of all time. And honestly, he has no estimation of amounts and numbers because, according to him, millions and millions of people came to his inauguration.
Yeah, millions.
But the other worrying thing I noticed about some of the Republican candidates, two of them, I think, were from Harvard Law School and one was from Yale. Ivy League universities, and Stanford isn't, but one of them was from Stanford. This is really worrying. Is that the quality of person that's coming out of Ivy League universities?
That part's worrying, yeah. And I don't know. I think Ivy League universities turn out right-wingers because they go in right-wing and they come out right-wing, I would expect, because, they're all from, not all, but what is that chirping in the background? Is your fire alarm still going?
Okay, no, I have to say I'm going to have some nice people come in on Thursday and resolve the issue.
Right, and how long has that issue remained unresolved?
2.5 months.
What?
2.5 months you've been living with that chirping thing?
It's driving me mad.
Yeah, exactly. How can you stand it? Why don't you just get on a chair and do it yourself?
Because it may be plugged in and I'm not an electrician.
Right. You're renting your apartment, aren't you?
Like the whole world, Nick. Who can afford to buy?
Exactly, yeah. But when somebody rents, they revert to a childhood state and they refuse to do anything for themselves. It's true. Anything at all that goes wrong with your flat, I bet you're straight on the phone to the managing agent, aren't you?
I am my very nice landlord. I do have a lovely landlord, yes. But yes, what's the word? Infantilizes.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the word? It's so true. Because I think, my landlord, or the second thought is, I wish I was married.
Probably not worth getting married just so somebody can change the battery in your smoke alarm.
Yes, I know. That's not a constructive way to go, really.
It's the same at work. It's the people act at work in exactly the same way. They'll have a meal at their hot desk. Which is, not their own personal desk. It's just a desk that anybody can use. But they'll have a meal and they'll put their fork in the end of their tea. So there'll be forks sticking out their tea mug. the remains of the pasta that they didn't eat is on a plate, and they will finish that meal and then get up and leave it there, like a child.
I don't actually get a lunch slot. I work in a really wonderful school, a really amazing school, but I have my lunch when I'm planning a lesson. Because we're on duty at lunchtime and break time. And
don't you get a lunch period where you can just get free from those screaming kids? Don't you?
No, the kids are wonderful.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know why they have such a bad press. Honestly, they're the most enlightened, clever, funny group of people.
Right. Well, what happens to them when they become adults then? They're so clever and enlightened. Huh?
The world ruins them, Nick.
Yeah, right. Probably correct. Yes, it's it's probably my fault.
Yes, everything around them. But the other thing is, if anyone didn't get the GCSE results that they wanted or expected, please
get a moped license.
Persevere and don't give up. Now, we all know that the education system is a complete mess, even though it's got dedicated people working within it. But at the moment, this is the system we have. And if you didn't get the results, just persevere, don't give up.
And one day you'll make it?
One day will be your day.
Yeah,
and if
maybe. Just for the one day, mind. That's all you get.
Yeah. But, yes, and that's it really. Trump, the birthday cake. Oh, the birthday cake.
Yeah.
Did you cut a birthday cake?
Is that... Is that associated with cutting the cheese, or is that something completely different?
Because I was going to say you need to make a wish, Nick.
Oh, a wish. Right. I wish I could get this first hour of this show back. How's that? Oh, no, I've said it out loud. It'll never come true. All right.
I wish I could get the last 10 years back.
Yeah, okay. Best of luck with that. Thanks a lot, Sophie. Cheers, my dear. Get that smoke alarm fixed. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
Looking smart for a new school year. If you want some quality, George has got the gear. Uniforms that are tough, George is just what you need. With reinforced knees, gonna hit those gates and play as much as I please. Quality schoolwear that stands the test of school time from £3, only at Georgia Asda. In a poll of 40 NetMoms members, 98% would recommend Georgia Asda schoolwear to a friend. Selected as the stores, subject to availability. Delivery charges may apply.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Everything is going extremely well.
You bet your life it is. 0345 6060 973. I think I swallowed some glass today. I don't sound I don't know, I sound like I'm talking through a screen, like I'm not really here. Hello? Is this thing on? You know when you get something in your mouth and you think, "Oh, what's that?" I'll just swallow it. And I was eating toast at the time, which I put jam on from a glass jar. And I thought, that feels a bit strange. Oh, but I'm halfway through swallowing, so I'll just do it anyway. And then it seemed to, I don't know, something seemed to stick about halfway down, and now it's almost like my body is trying to get rid of it. Not the other way, the way it got into me in the first place. It feels a bit weird. 034, but you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
0345 6060 973. Could have been a bit of glass. What happens if you eat glass? Sandbats. Hello, John.
That useless organisation called Ofgem today told us our bills are going to decrease by about 150 quid over the year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't spend it all in the same place.
Yeah, I was jumping for joy. But I'm on a meter, so for me it'd be less than 150 quid. And these organisations, Ofgem, what use are they?
What are they for? I mean, their purpose is supposed to be to protect us from a rampaging corporation that has been gifted a monopoly by the Tory party. A monopoly of something that we can't do without. But it seems to be the other way around. They seem to be protecting the corporations from us poor dopes who pay taxes.
Exactly. They're protecting them because it's a vested interest.
It's just bizarre what is happening in this country. Everywhere you look, it's like every day is opposite day under this regime, and they're trying to take our mind off it by pointing up boats.
And then we get the great news that the visa scheme that brings in people to do the jobs like carers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Are mainly from Africa and Asia and what have you. And, they can't get work and all that kind of stuff. And we got rid of Brexit and we got rid of all the European people who did the caring.
Mm-hmm.
And now the racists in the society don't realise that the country's getting influxed by black people.
If your average Brexiter had in mind when they voted to leave the European Union because they were concerned about being surrounded by foreigners, if they had in mind when they put their tick in that box that the white Europeans would be replaced by people from India, then I am a Knickerbocker Glory with cream on top.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, these people are so stupid.
Not stupid necessarily, just gullible. I mean, they believed everything they were told about their potential glorious future by a bunch of con artists and con artists.
Crooks.
Yeah.
Crooks.
All right, we'll go with that one. Crooks. Yeah. I'm not thinking straight, John. I think I've eaten a lot of glass. Can you believe that?
Okay then.
Not remotely interested.
The crooks could lie down straight in bed.
Yeah. All right, thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Great news as the government's automatons made the round today congratulating themselves on bringing down the price of energy. We find that more than 7 million households face higher heating bills this winter.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Increases in standing charges and the loss of government subsidies compared to last year mean that millions of households that use relatively little gas and electricity are going to be worse off this year than last year. And that serves them right for not having the foresight to be born to rich parents. Smug.
My view.
Exactly. The think tank, the Resolution Foundation, said that 7.2 million households face... 7.2 million... I mean, there's only 20-odd million households in the country. 7.2 million. About a third of households are going to face higher bills, even as the price cap is expected to fall from 2,100 to around 1,925.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, great. And part of the reason families are going to be worse off is because government subsidies worth 400 quid per household are not going to be repeated. And you know what? They weren't doing us a favour with that subsidy. I mean, keep that in mind. They act like they were doing us a favour, but they weren't. They were doing the energy companies a favour for essentially allowing them to charge anything they wanted, and the government would pick up the bill using all taxpayers' money while claiming that they were helping us. I mean, it's like a pickpocket stealing 100 quid from you and then giving you £1 for a cup of tea.
Thank you.
You can't buy a cup of tea for £1. And now a rapid rise in standing charges is going to be a major contributor to the energy companies feeling HAPPY-ness. The average standing charge has risen from just under 250 quid a year in 2020 to £300 a year now. So if you're poor and you're trying to reduce the amount you spend on, staying alive? You can't, because they get you even if you've used nothing. Peter Smith at National Energy Action said, despite increased criticism of the impact these fixed charges have, particularly on low-usage households, Ofgem has overseen a rapid increase in standing charges since the price cap was introduced 4 years ago. I mean, does it seem to you as though these so-called regulators of industries set up by the government to supposedly act in the public's best interest over industries that we allowed to be sold out from underneath us? You know, water, electricity, gas. Those regulators are in fact now just there to wave through anything the companies involved want without a murmur. I mean, it's also what would Donald Trump do? Donald Trump would put in place people who are ideologically opposed to regulating the industry that they're supposed to be regulating.
Everything that I've done is 100% proper. That's what I do, is I do things properly.
Yeah. So while these government nodding dogs that were going on the rounds of the studios today, repeating the same learned phrases and dodgy statistics about how well the government is doing and how cheap energy bills are going to be, spoiler alert, they weren't telling the whole truth. Isn't that shocking?
No.
Because while the typical household energy bill will fall a bit this winter, more than 1 in 3 households across England will discover that their energy bills are higher, which is the opposite of what those automatons from the government were spouting on about today when they went around the studios. I mean, here are the statistics that you should remember. Can you remember back as far as 2021? The energy price cap then was 1,138. Now they're celebrating that it's only 1,923. And in 2021, 4.5 million households were in fuel poverty. Now it's 6.3. Which tells you everything you need to know about the current regime. You have to excuse me, I've eaten a lot of glass. It does feel like that's exactly what it's coming back up again and slicing its way through my vocal cords. Nothing to be concerned about, though. This is from let's see. This is from the beginning of last year in The Independent. As the country's poorest households struggle to pay soaring gas and electricity bills, and I'm reading this because the government, when they are accused of standing by while the energy companies just reap in massive profits, they say, oh, well, of course, they've had a very bad few years and they're just getting back a little bit of money in order to, mitigate those losses. Right. That's what's happening. Hang on. As the country's poorest households, says The Independent, struggle to pay soaring gas and electricity bills, Britain's big 6 energy firms have banked more than £7 billion in operating profit in just 5 years. The energy price cap, the minimum amount a utility company can charge a customer each year, is set to rise by 54%, meaning suppliers can pass on rising costs to customers. Yeah, that's right. But an investigation by The Independent found that 5 of the UK's biggest energy firms have recorded £7.66 billion in cumulative earnings before interest and taxes. £7.66 billion in 5 years. SSE, Scottish Power, E.ON, EDF, Centrica, which owns British Gas, have all banked operating profits. And this was 2022. The beginning of 2022. Electricity and gas bills for a typical household were predicted to go up by £700 to 1,971, which is what they're proposing that go down to now. The regulator says the increase is driven by a record rise in global you see, when you've swallowed glass, then it's pretty much the only thing you can think of. I can't read anymore. The increase is driven by a record rise in global gas prices over the last 6 months. Always some blooming excuse. Well, if the price increase was driven by record global gas prices, then why are they making excess profits? I mean, if they're just charging us, if they're just passing on the extra costs of buying the gas, then how come they're making so much money? Huh? Labour has called for a windfall tax on oil and gas companies. Well, that was last year. Of course, this year they're probably saying, no, well, whatever Rishi Sunak just said, that's our policy, said Labour. The Ditto Party. Lord Sicker, a Labour peer and accounting professor, told The Independent it's essential that the government now claws back some of their profits through a windfall tax. And the government said,
No.
Yeah. They thought about it long and hard and said no. They said, he said rather, not Sammy Hagar, that's somebody else. Sammy Hagar
Rock and roll!
used to sing with Van Halen. Sandy Hagar is a senior lecturer in international political economy at the City University of London. He said, the enormous profits that the big six energy suppliers have enjoyed in recent years are a slap in the face to low and middle income households currently struggling through the cost of living crisis. He said if politicians are worried about the fiscal consequences of this type of intervention, then a tax targeting the profits of the big six would be a sensible way of offsetting the cost. Here's some of the numbers. SSE recorded an earnings before interest and taxes amount of $3.37 billion in the 5 years from 2016. Centrica, $2.05 billion. Scottish Power, $1.4 billion. E.ON, $432.7 million. I mean, do you feel like you've been had? If all of that money had just flowed virtuously through our economy, instead of getting squirted up these companies that are in large part owned by foreign investors and other countries' governments, then wouldn't this be a happier place? But I suppose we can't have nice things. Ofgem said the price cap had prevented unreasonable profits. They actually said that out loud. I mean, can you imagine what would constitute unreasonable profits if a few companies produced something that we can't do without and for which there is effectively no competition, and they can make £7.7 billion in 5 years and call it reasonable? Are you beginning to feel that you've been had?
Yes.
Yeah, tell Sid about it. 0345 6060 973, text 84850, email nicka@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's at LBC, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC.
LBC. This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973, text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
How are you?
I'm dying, thanks for asking. 0345 6060 973. Pam says, you have not got my full attention tonight. I'm searching for a cheapo Rembrandt on eBay. What does that mean? I have no idea what that means. Message coming in from next door. Think in response to the museum story. Oh. Well, I don't think the British Museum has any Rembrandts. It's not really their thing. Still more coming in. Think in response to the museum story, lots of items were sold on eBay. Were they?
Yes, they were indeed. That's how this ended up coming to light, was someone found some of these items that were meant to be listed in the museum available on eBay.
Right. Well, I haven't been paying attention myself this week, it being my birthday and all. Yeah, I know the British Museum had a bit of a problem, bit of an issue, but, they got no end of knickknacks over at the British Museum, so if they lost a few from the millions and millions of little bits of broken pots and all that stuff, well, I mean, nobody really missed it, did they? Because they've been gone for years. Prague, hello. Not that I'm recommending anybody steal anything from the British Museum. Prague, Ian.
Hi, Nick. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
I just wanted to call. It's kind of a welfare check. Is it a full moon in the UK? I mean,
don't know. I take full responsibility.
You should, because many callers always say you keep them sane, and tonight's show, I'm not sure
failed.
That demonstrates.
Yeah, that's right.
Just very quickly on the energy thing. So in the Czech Republic, all utilities, water, are actually owned. Well, they have to have a government provider, which has majority shares,
right.
Because after the end of communism, a lot of British and American consultants came and told them they had to privatize, but even they put some brakes on that. It was just a very quick thing, actually. I think you saw the film Oppenheimer. And
No, I have not.
Oh.
I have not seen the film Oppenheimer.
Okay.
No, I couldn't get in.
Okay,
I tried to go see it on IMAX, and it was completely sold out. I mean, totally. They had showings at 9 o'clock in the morning that you could not get into.
Exactly. And I couldn't, so I gave up, and I was back in the UK, and I went to Curzon and saw it, and I don't want to give anything away, but I just don't. Having seen it, it didn't really seem like a movie that you have to see on IMAX. So, anyway,
I would have thought that the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible would be more of a film that people would want to see on IMAX. I mean, you want to see £100 million worth of stuff explode on a screen, not somebody working out equations.
Yeah, or being grilled by a senator. So I didn't really. I don't know. Maybe Nolan has shares in it. The other thing is, just very quickly, I'm going on holiday to Edinburgh. And I know you're from that part of the world.
Yep.
So the question would be, any recommendations, although I appreciate you're not a travel agent.
Yeah.
And also, are you going to have a holiday? Because it's your birthday, and are you going to do anything? I know you don't really do much, holiday-wise.
No, I went to, my recommendation for you going to Edinburgh is don't. I mean, don't go in August because you won't be able to get a hotel room.
I'm going in September.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going in September, yeah.
Carry on. And I already did go to somewhere on holiday for my birthday. I had a day out in Blackpool.
Oh, lovely. Okay. Very nice.
I don't mean Blackpool. I mean Brighton. Yeah.
Okay.
I am not thinking very well this evening. Brighton is where I went on holiday, and it was like I explained in full what it was like getting off the train. It was like walking into a military zone, and I explained it in full on the podcast that is coming out on Monday with me and Carol McGiffin.
Yeah. And
I'm not going to repeat it here. If you want to hear what my trip to why am I saying that? Brighton. If we want to hear what my trip to Brighton was like, and the military presence that greeted you on exiting the train down there, then listen to the podcast that's coming out on Monday. All right, good work. Okay. Thanks a lot, Ian. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, in which Carol McGiffin and I try to solve people's problems while guffawing like seals. Every now and again, we do actually solve people's problems. And the only way in which we can try and solve yours is if you tell us what it is. Here's the address. nickandcarol@global.com. nickandcarol@global.com. And prepare to be totally satisfied. Ask for it by name on an internet near you. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? And the one that's coming out on Monday will have my... it's my birthday special. Oh, you know what? That takes too long. Quicker. There you go. Yeah, my telling of my trip to Brighton, it was just bizarre. What greeted you coming off the train at Brighton was weird. It was like being in another country. I've never seen it before, and if you want to know what it was, then I'm not going to repeat it on this show, but it is in the podcast that I did with Carol McGiffin. It'll be coming out on Monday. What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol? That's what it's called. Right, let's do... Who's been waiting the longest? Colnbrook. Nick.
Hi, Nick. Nice to talk to you again.
Yes, sir.
Right, first I have a confession. I was one of those silly suckers that got fooled by Boris and our other friend, and I did sign up for Brexit. Now, at the same time, I'd like to put you in the same ballpark. Now that we now hear that the university that gave Mayor Khan the figures for the fumes and the air quality and all the rest of it has now been proved, that they are saying that it's not as dangerous as it's all been made out. We're all having to drive now at 20 miles an hour, so the cars are worse. So they're shoving out more because of the way they're being forced to drive. the air quality is not going to be as bad as it is for outside of London, where the ULEZ is about to start. How do you feel now, the same way that I do about Brexit, that you have been suckered by giving us all the grief of how bad the air is going to be when it's not, and the figures have now been proved that the only reason that the Mayor Khan wants all this money is to run TfL because nobody else will give him any?
Blah,
Did I get
blah.
that right?
No, I don't really think you got any of it right, Nick. Here's what's happening with ULEZ. 90% of the cars in London are already passing the test, so they won't have to pay any money, correct?
Yeah.
90%. Okay, so now we're down to 10%. So 10% of the people who drive cars in London are now subject to these fines. And the people who are complaining won't be all of that 10%. They will be at most 10% of the 10%, because a lot of people are taking advantage of this moment to scrap their old cars and get their $2,000 or their $7,000 for the van or 12,000 for disabled vehicles or whatever it might be. They're taking this opportunity. They're getting nudged to change their cars. So we're not even talking about 10% of the people that drive in London. We're talking about a tiny percentage of those 10%. So let's say 1%. Or let's be super generous and say 5%. So 5% of the people that drive in London are now making all of this noise.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
But complaining that they are having to change their behaviour in order to benefit the other 95%. Why the hell should the 95% of the people in London have to put up with the 5% who are insisting on polluting?
Nick, we don't all drive all the way into London. Some of us go half a mile across that barrier before we end up being at our place of work.
Yeah, blah,
you've
blah.
Got Heathrow Airport at the moment have got the vehicles that tow the aircraft, the Bowsers that empty the sewerage and refill the water tanks or tow your luggage around are all exempt. All exempt. So if he's exempting these vehicles, what's this great worry about this air quality? It should be everybody or nobody.
Are you kidding me? The vehicles that tow your luggage at the airport.
The airport tow the aircraft.
How many of those are there, Nick? What are you talking about? I'm sick up to here of people whining about ULEZ like they think they're in the majority. You're not. You're a tiny minority of constantly whining people, and I'm so bored of hearing it. This entitled... it's a tiny rump of constantly dissatisfied people who complain about everything. You complain about the bike lanes, and you complain about the bus lanes, and you complain about the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, which you already have done. And there's absolutely nothing that you won't complain about unless you're allowed to do anything you want like babies. I'm so over this conversation, Nick. And to be fair, I didn't bring it up. You did. I'm just closing it down on this show. Apart from this message from Ollie, who says, the ULEZ expansion is now only 3 days away, but I am not complying with it. My diesel Jaguar is ready and waiting for me to drive through all of London's boroughs, and I'm not paying Khan's ridiculous charge or the resulting fines. You can ride a bike around if you like, says Ollie. Another baby. I'm so tired of hearing of those people. And, well, there is no and. My patience is at an end. I can't stand it anymore. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. What happens when you eat glass? Seriously, does it go all the way down and through, or does it have to come back up? Anybody know? I'm delighted, by the way, this outpouring of concern. Not one single person. Oh, Nick, you've eaten glass. I'm so sorry. I need medical assistance. But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
0345 6060 973. It's just past 11:30. The news headlines with Darryl Jackson.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Listen to him.
He knows everything.
Mike texts, have you ordered your Trump never surrender mugshot yet? Mugshot yet? Never surrender, which is weird because he just surrendered himself to the authorities in Georgia. Small point. Johnny texts, for the cost of the Tory track and trace programme, India could have made 655 lunar landings with equal success. I mean, what's the point of going back to the moon? I don't really understand it. Why? I mean, unless you're going to build a moon base there for the benefit of blasting off to other further away bodies in space, what's the point of going back to the moon? I mean, there ain't nothing there. Eddie says, did you read the court description of Donald Trump? They described him as having blonde or strawberry blonde hair. Don't they have the colour orange in America? It's not his hair that's orange, it's his face.
Oh, shut up!
Beverly, East Yorkshire. Hello, Mike.
Hiya, Nick. Well, I'm abnormal.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, I mean, quickly on the energy front, I've run the numbers for me, and I'm a low consumer. It's going to cost me another 120 quid next year if my consumption remains the same.
Right. Or as the government would say it, you'll be saving a huge amount of money.
Yeah, something like that. Horrible way of conning the public. But anyway, what I really wanted to talk about was Ramaswamy, this American guy who was at the Republican debate the other night.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard about him because Farage keeps going on that he's the best thing since sliced bread. So I actually watched the debate. And then I researched a couple of his previous speeches and his scribblings. This guy is dangerous. He is really, really bad news.
Right.
I mean, but one of the interesting facts that he came out with, he said that there'd been a poll in America and they'd asked people, would you rather lose your voting rights or lose TikTok? And 60% of the people polled would rather lose the voting rights than TikTok.
TikTok.
I love the poorly educated.
Yeah, they keep winning and winning.
And he blamed this on Biden taking the country into a state of political disaster, and he vowed to change this round so that Americans were proud of America again.
Yeah.
But the other thing, he stood there and he said, Trump's the greatest ever American president, and if I get the president, I will pardon him of every offence, and if I'm president, I will have him as my chief advisor. He will be there to keep me in the right track. I've got the energy, youth. And the other thing that he didn't say is he's got no baggage. And he was going straight to the dinglings, and the dinglings in the crowd were cheering him on all the time because he was saying no more money on climate change. We're going to militarise the southern border to stop the Mexican invasion. Mm-hmm. We're going to stop funding Ukraine. And the dinglings were going mental.
Yeah.
This guy, I'm not joking, he's dangerous. He's as evil, corrupt, and devious as Trump, but he's a lot more intelligent.
Yeah, but he's a lot less popular. He is not going to get the Republican nomination. He just isn't. It's going to be Donald Trump, and we're going to have to deal with that. And the possibility is that he is going to be the next president of the United States of America. And if that's the case, he's probably going to be the last president of the United States of America for a very long time because he's going to do a Putin.
It could be, but this guy could be playing for the vice president vote.
Right.
He could be threatening Trump. But the thing is that he's actually got to 28% in the Republican voting, which is quite startling.
I think his problem is that, as far as Republicans are concerned, he's not a white guy.
No, there is that to it. But I'm just saying this guy needs watching because he really is effective in what he does. But he's absolutely ruthless and cynical. And as I say, and if Trump makes him his vice president, he might be happy with that. But if he subsequently runs for president, this guy is really bad news. Right. I mean, worse than Trump even.
Yeah. All right, thanks for the bad news, Mike. We'll just have to cross our fingers and hope for the best. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. Eddie says, did you read the court? No, read that one. Lazarus texts, I can't wait as a poorly educated person to see the Donald win the election and attempt to run for the third term. He won't have to run for a third term. He'll just give it to himself. And Lucy says, does Donald Trump look very highly educated in his mug shot? He looks very highly animated. Kensington. Hello, Richard.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I find it all very interesting because the complexity of all this is so ridiculous, and it's getting away from the reality of it.
It?
Huh?
It?
It's getting away from the reality of stuff.
Stuff?
Yeah. The reality of the existing things that are going on.
What does that mean?
What do you mean, what's that mean? Oh, dear God.
Yeah, that's my thoughts entirely, Richard. You said it's... I can't really... Can I be bothered? Oh, all right, then. You said it's... we're getting away from the reality of it. What is it in this context?
Well, it is the complexity of the nonsense that's going on that is being portrayed.
Oh, well, you've really cleared that up for us. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Is it me, or is this weird tonight? Or both? Mark texts, if Trump does end up being president from prison, at least Melania will have the White House to herself. You're going to have that huge place all to yourself, Melania?
I don't care.
She's actually not that bothered. Sanjay says, did you see the news on that charge sheet for the Orange Nightmare? He put his weight down as 215 pounds, which is about 15 stone. Yeah. And then I read Mark Meadows, who is half the size of Trump, and he was 240 pounds. They all had a laugh and said that Trump obviously only was only weighed from the waist down. He can't stop lying about anything, can he? I mean, it's... never mind. If you eat a bit, like a little sliver of glass, I would definitely have eaten something that I shouldn't have today. It was on a piece of toast, and I thought maybe it was a bit of the glass jar that had broken off inside. And I was like halfway through a swallow, and I thought, oh, there's something there that shouldn't be there. But it was almost too late. Well, it was too late. And ever since, it feels like it's been it's been like trying to get back out again. But you know me, it's not like me to sit here and complain.
Stop whining.
0345 6060 973. Let's have Kilburn. Hello, John.
Hello, Nick.
Yes, sir.
Happy Strong. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Nice one. I haven't spoken to you for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
You coming down to Carnival, Nick?
No.
Come and eat some jerk chicken.
No, thanks.
Why not? Every year I invite you down and you say no thanks.
Right. Yeah. I've been to Notting Hill Carnival, and there was 1 year that I went there. Well, there was 1 year I went, one of the first years, I had to run in a crouched position while bricks were flying overhead. So that almost put me off. And then the second time, it was during the parade, and I was in the crush in the main road, and the crush was unlike anything I've experienced before or since, apart from New Year's Eve, just before they started making it a ticketed event in the central London, the fireworks. There was a year when I left the building here and I went out onto Charing Cross Road, and I couldn't move for about half an hour. The crush was so incredible and no one could move, and fights started breaking out around me because people were just so frustrated and drunk, of course. And then they brought in ticketing for the fireworks, and then it changed it completely. But this time when I was at the Notting Hill the Notting Hill fireworks, the Notting Hill Carnival, there was such a crush around the parade that I was actually lifted off my feet, and I had no control over the direction in which I was going. I could see a side road up ahead, about 10 yards away, where I could get relief from this crush, but I couldn't actually make my way to it. I could see freedom, but I couldn't get there. And at that point, I thought, I am never, ever coming to this event again, John. So it's a no from me.
Well, you never know, Nick. I might send you up some jerk chicken from the carnival. How about that, then?
Okay, well, it's not something I'm going to eat, but you can do it if you like, but I'm afraid it's going to go straight in the bin.
All right.
Not that I have any problem with jerk chicken. It's just that, you can't accept food from outside. You just can't. Thanks, John. Andrew texts, shame the emperor penguin seems to be on the brink of extinction, but look on the bright side, there will be a slight increase in profits for some long-term investors somewhere. Never mind, though, I suppose it'll be... Never mind, though, I suppose it's only the amazing biodiversity of life that we're losing. Yeah, that's right. No more king penguins. Emperor penguins, whatever they are. James says, sorry to hear you're having a bad birthday week, Nick. No, I had a great birthday week. It's just that today I ate something that I shouldn't have done, and it seems to be sticking in various parts of my internal person, going up and down, and I feel it's like tickling the bottom of my brain at the moment. But nothing to worry about. James says, sorry to hear you're having a bad birthday week. I think all the listeners should club together and buy you a big bowl of jellied eels to cheer you up.
Disgusting.
No thanks. I'll file that with the jerk chicken. Harrow. Hello, Bob.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, Bob.
I'm a bit concerned, Nick, that you've glassed yourself.
Yeah, I think so.
And glass is an interesting word. It can be an adjective, a noun, and a verb all at the same time. So you've glassed yourself tonight. Mm-hmm. Now, we've got words in the English language. I'm just going to interrupt my concern for you with a quick discussion about words. Not only do we have a plethora of words in the English language, politicians keep inventing new ones which mean nothing, like Brexit, or amount to nothing, like ULEZ.
Brexit and ULEZ both do mean something.
But they're not, as words, they're new words, Nick. We've just invented new words. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, okay, they mean something. There's an impact on the environment. There's an impact on the economy from Brexit and ULEZ, respectively. Yeah, I get that. But, why do we not do... Oh, your throat again, you're glassing. That's a kind of hint. Let's return to my concern for your esophagus. If it doesn't clear up within 48 hours, Nick, go to an A&E unit and get ultrasonography or get an endoscopy and find out what is going on in your throat. I'm a bit concerned with what's going on. Genuinely,
that's okay, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your concern, Bob. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to A&E. And by the time I'm seen, I'll either be cured or dead. 0345 6060 973. Nick Abbott, LBC.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm super. Thanks for asking. Mark says the British Museum has got someone working there who's nicking stuff and flogging it on eBay for knockdown prices. Perhaps they're really doing a Robin Hood so that people who had their stuff stolen can get it back. And Steve says, global warming, anybody doubting it wants to come here. Cambrils in Catalonia. It's hotter than when I worked in the iron foundry. Mi amigo told me yesterday that his padre had lived here for 90 years and has never known it to be so hot. It's a hoax, is it? Says Steve. I've just looked up the weather for Cambrils in Catalonia. 87 degrees. Pretty much every day with hot sun. Some thunder, lightning, very, very frightening. But apart from that, it's going to be baking, hot heat. Here, not so much. Not so much. Instant autumn, feels like. Harrow, Jonathan.
Happy birthday to you, Nick.
Thanks a lot, Jonathan.
I had no idea before, because I'm having a stressful time nowadays. I had no idea today was your birthday.
You're having a what put on?
Stressful time.
You're having a what?
Stressful time.
Oh, stressful. You're having a stressful time, yes. So why is that, then?
I had no idea that today was your birthday, and you're so dedicated. You are presenting on your birthday, so best wishes.
No, not today. This week. This week has been my birthday. It's my birthday week.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks.
The Ranjit was talking about kabaddi as a sport.
Yeah, what is that?
Because I'm from Kolkata. Well, you know, the Calcutta, I just knocked something over. The Calcutta, no offense, where the British were based and were looting India from.
Right. What did you just knock over?
I knocked over some hand gel and a bottle of orange juice.
Hand gel and a bottle of orange juice. What, you making a cocktail?
No. But I went to the Afghan restaurant today, and I'm so stressed I walked out with a glass.
You went to an Afghan restaurant?
Yeah. There were no white people in the customers.
Right.
And I'm so stressed.
Is that about... that stressed you out? Because there were no white people?
No, not that.
Right, not that.
I'm not white. I'm saying I walked out with a glass.
Mm-hmm.
But
why... Hang on a minute. Why did you walk out with a glass?
Because I have high stress levels. I'll tell you in a second.
I'm not sure that is a defence in a court of law.
No, because I was walking midway and I was drinking from the glass, and I thought I have to return it because I can't have the Afghan bread because of my bowels. That's true.
What is it about Afghan bread that upsets your bowels so?
Now, any bread. I'm the glutton and wheat intolerant.
Right.
You know, so when I was in India, I couldn't get anything that was gluten-free, wheat-free.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is this, with the Kolkata where I'm from, the kabaddi was a big sport, and it is basically two groups of men, and you have to chant. You don't know what British Bulldog is.
No.
The kiddies play it in the school playground. You have to, it's essentially the same thing, and essentially, if I'm playing it with you,
yeah,
or say you, me, Nick Ferrari, and James O'Brien,
right,
and the three of you are chasing me, and I have to do in one breath, and this is absolutely true. You in one breath, in one breath, you have to do.
Wait a minute, is that your neighbour banging on the door, banging on the wall again?
Again, yeah.
Yeah, right.
In one.
Do you spend all day long in your place just shouting? Because it seems like he has like a trigger finger as far as trigger finger's not the right phrase at all. But I've eaten a lot of glass today, Jonathan. I'm not thinking straight. Your neighbour appears to be on the edge of fury with you at all times.
I'm spending more time in the house because I'll tell you about kabaddi in a second, but I'm spending more time in the house because of my work situation. My financial streams are running out, and yes. I'm getting very stressed. I'm having to think about selling my BMW. No, I'm being serious. It's
right.
stressful.
Well, that's very, very stressful thing to consider. Yeah, you've had to sack one of your two cleaners, and now you're thinking about selling your BMW.
No, I'm on cleaner number 4. He's an old Englishman, and he did not show up.
He didn't show up? The old Englishman didn't show up to clean your place?
Because I tell you, I voted Brexit, and now all the Europeans have gone, and it's just English people. No offence, I'm not a racist.
But
but they don't show up. They don't show up, So,
no.
But the kabaddi is in one point. In one breath. So if I'm playing with you, Nick Ferrari and James O'Brien, you're all on one team, and you have to, and I in one breath have to say, kabaddi, 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 like this.
Mm-hmm. What's the point of doing that?
No, that's the sport. It's like you can search for it on the YouTube. They used to show it on the Channel 4 in the 90s.
That doesn't sound like a game to me. That's I don't know. It sounds like you're having a fit.
But you asked me about it.
Well, that is true. It is my fault. Yeah.
Can I quickly mention something about this the situation now? I mean,
well, you better be quick because your neighbour's going to start banging on the wall again.
No, just very quickly. So my financial situation is crumbling now, and I just think we don't have free speech in the UK. For example, this women's football. You are correct. Nobody gives a damn about it.
Well, I don't think I put it quite like that. A lot of people do care about it. It's just that not me personally. I'm not remotely interested in the Rugby World Cup either. But that doesn't make me a Nazi.
The Women's Rugby World Cup also not interested.
No, I'm not saying the Women's Rugby World Cup, if indeed there is such a thing. I'm saying the Rugby World Cup, the Men's Rugby World Cup. Don't care.
No, but listen to me. The point is...
I am listening to you.
they've kicked me out of my office, the rent space that I used to rent, and it's been very stressful. And each radio station or television I switch on, it's always the feminism, and this is not a sexist thing.
But
it's every radio channel, every television station. Let's empower the women. Now let's stop being wokey and teach our kiddies to do something other than the twerking, vaping, and promiscuity. Because I'm being serious. Because the way my finances are going, Nick, I'm genuinely thinking, how will I get to the end of the year without going to Kolkata? And I'll probably have to become a prostitute.
Okay, well, I wish you the best of luck with that, Jonathan. What are you thinking of charging?
A homeless man once said to me, he said...
Okay, you know what? Whatever you're about to say is probably something that I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear what a homeless man said to you in relation to the subject of selling yourself for sex. Pretty sure I don't want to hear that. But I do wish you all the best in your new endeavour, Jonathan. Can you believe this programme?
No.
0345. By the way, he is right about one thing. They should definitely stop the wokey-cokey.
Okie dokie.
And stop the kids learning the twerking and all of that. That is a good idea. Well, who knows what might happen in the last hour of this programme. Least of all. Anybody got a cure for having swallowed glass? I suppose the cure is don't be so stupid as to swallow a bit of glass in the first place. But it seems like it's trying to make its escape. 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Hello.
Here are the studio calls flashing up on the indicator.
Yes, let's get straight on with it. Dunstable. Hello, Hazel.
Happy birthday, Nick.
Thanks, Hazel.
Yeah, I've got some cure for your throat. You must eat a lot of obrien, and that will digest, and it should be all right. It will force the glass, whatever it is, out.
Right.
In. No, really, a lot of obrien.
Right.
That's all you need. And only if you pass blood must you go and see a doctor.
Right.
But I'm sure you'll be all right.
Oh, well...
Just eat the obrien.
Are you a medical professional?
Not really,
Not
no,
really,
but I do know a lot of things.
Right,
yeah,
doing a lot of things.
But
Okay.
I'm telling you to do that.
Yes. Okay, well, a message received, Hazel. I'll take it under advisement. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. No, I don't think that sounds like a very good idea. It sounds... you need something more to... I don't know, to take it down. Like, old bran is just mush when it goes down, right? You need something like hard that's going to grip onto it, like I don't know, probably like the same kind of thing that made me feel like I'd swallowed something bad in the first place, which would be toast. You need something like with a bit of rough around it. You know, does that make sense? 0345 6060 973. Let's have East Kilbride. Hello, Tony.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Apart from the glass eating.
Yes.
You know, yeah, apart from that, you're doing great. You were talking about the massive profits being made by the energy companies.
Mm-hmm.
I've just had a quick look at my bills, had a quick look back through them. In April 21, the standing charge for my gas was 21p a day.
Right.
It is now 58p a day.
What?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And has the standard of your service increased proportionately?
Well, it's hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was being overpriced at 21p a day.
Yes.
I live on my own, and I work, and I'm visually impaired, so it's not as if I've got the telly on.
Right.
I'm not watching Netflix. I've not got computers on and stuff like that. I listen to the radio.
Yeah.
So I'm out for most of the day. It's not like I'm burning a lot of energy, and my fuel bills have gone up from just over £60 a month. They're now £150 a month.
Oh, my God.
But it's not only that. The food bills have doubled.
Yeah.
I'm going shopping tomorrow, where it used to cost me, I used to budget on about £30 a week.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, if I go shopping and it's less than £100, I'll be amazed.
Yes.
Politicians keep talking about the cost of living crisis, but they're not doing anything. Do you know any other crisis where people have just stood by and watched?
Off the top of my head, no, I can't think of anything like it. They're not really interested in the cost of living crisis because it's not affecting them. You think Rishi Sunak is worried about the price of food?
I don't think Rishi Sunak's worried about anything, is he?
About the price of anything, no.
You know, he's... but I don't know why we put up with it. Why we just shrug our shoulders and say, well, what can you do? What can you do?
Well, people keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. They keep voting for politicians who don't appear to have their best interests at heart. I mean, how much evidence do you need?
But like the politicians will say, we're going to crack down on
benefits cheats,
immigration.
Yeah, or that.
But yeah, or benefit cheats, or the NHS, or have the politicians in the course of your life given you any reasons for confidence in anything?
Well, politicians in general, no, but in certain individuals, yes. Certain individuals do make sense. Certain politicians do seem to actually care. But
they don't end up in charge.
Sadly, that seems to be true. Yeah. Not lately, anyway.
I used to have like a fairly decent, like I say, I live on my own. I used to have a fairly decent standard of living. I could do what I want when I want, and now I'm watching the pennies.
Yeah, I know. It's and they say, we've avoided recession in Britain. Yeah, but that's not most people's experience. Most people's experience is we've been in recession for blooming ages. It's just that it's not technically a recession, which really belies people's experience of living in this country. Yeah, Tony, I wish you all the best. Thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. Val says the only reason England didn't win the Women's World Cup is due to a no good luck message from Jeremy blooming Corbyn. Yeah, thanks a lot, Jezza. You see what you've done? Stu says Trump's photo was meant to make him look hard and mean. I think I might print a T-shirt with a picture of him holding Theresa May's hand walking down a slight incline. Very, very scary ramp. Yeah, must have been about a foot tall. But his fans love it, though, I bet, because that's the image they have of the dear leader. Tooting. Hello, Jan.
Hi, good evening, Nick.
Jan.
Want to wish you a happy birthday.
Thanks.
The birthday, well, every day should really be a bit like a birthday, shouldn't it?
Yes.
Not just the birthday week.
That's right.
And I hope I have an idea, because once when I had a very gravelly throat, or felt like I, maybe, anyway, you can hear me, we have a gravelly voice now, but I think that have soft bread, chew soft bread, maybe have some spoons of honey, and lots of water.
the honey come in? I mean, in your mouth, obviously.
But you could put the honey on the bread, or just chew soft bread, to make you swallow, have something that's soft, not too hard on the throat.
Right.
But it'll pull things down, you know what I mean? And then the honey as well, just honey, a spoon of honey dessert spoon of honey or something would pull.
Well, it makes the medicine
throat.
go down, is what I heard.
Yes. And then water, water, lots of warm water.
Warm?
Well, I mean, is it glass? It can't be glass.
I don't know. It feels like it is. It feels like it's sort of going up and down, and now it's sort of either I'm having a heart attack or it's in the middle of my chest, and it's on the way down. Maybe it's going to come back up again, but my body is sensing that there is an alien invasion.
Have you had some fruits with seeds in them?
No, I think it may have come from the inside of a glass jar of jam.
Oh. Well, yeah, maybe. Oh, I see. Well, let's hope not. Yeah, I think when I had something stuck in my throat, I was told to keep eating a lot of soft bread. You know.
Yeah.
And
who told you to do that? Just some random person?
No. Some medics. Okay. I was having problems. Some ambulance people.
Yes.
This is going back. This isn't recent. But I was told to have a lot of chew soft bread. Chewing, the action of chewing helps things go down, as well as the bread will pull it down, as well as if you have any honey or syrup.
Okay. Well, I will look forward to doing that the moment I get home, assuming that I live that long.
Oh, they don't. No. I was ringing for a couple of things to say to you. I was wondering what your favourite drink was. Are you into cocktails?
I often like to start the evening out with a cocktail. Yes. Booze.
What's your favourite cocktail?
It would have to be a margarita.
Oh, that's the most popular. Yeah, that's the most popular one in the UK. Then
is it?
Well, yeah. Apparently, you know how you can go online and do searches and ask for the top 10 of anything.
Yeah.
Whoever compiles those, I mean, I'm not sure, but no, it's based on...
Well, if it's on the internet, Jan, it's absolutely true. All of it.
No, I mean, I've just... there's so many... that you could write a good poem on just the names of titles of cocktail drinks. I came across some really funny ones. And how some of them are quite adventurous, that the people are getting more adventurous all the time with unusual cocktails. I mean, there's things using seaweeds in drinks.
Oh, no thanks.
No, some of them are traditional.
Yeah, well, I'm not remotely interested in whether they're traditional or not. You lost me at seaweed.
Okay, well, what about porn star martini? That's it's a blend of mango, passion fruit, lime.
No.
No.
A martini should be white spirits. That's it. A little bit of Lillet Blanc, something like that.
Okay, so I'll leave the drink, but there's something I wanted to say because this week has been quite a dramatic week in terms of certain news. Like I want to touch on transplants and implants quickly because
oh my God!
The womb transplant.
There was.
This was a week where there was a womb transplant.
That's what you want to talk about on this show now? A womb transplant? You want to talk about that on this show?
I don't want to talk
Can we go
about
back to talking about cocktails? Hey, Jan, do you like pina coladas?
I don't drink. I haven't drunk for 30 years.
Do you like getting caught in the rain?
Nick, please, can I say something? All right.
Are you only if you answer the following questions? Are you into yoga? Do you have half a brain? I'm not going to read the next line.
I have more than half a brain.
Right. Okay, I'm glad to hear it. But I'm absolutely not going to be talking about womb transplants on this show. Not now, not ever, never.
No, okay, all right.
No. It's a no from me.
But it was front page news. But what about these? I came across Elon Musk is planning to start doing implants, brain implants.
Mm.
So we're already quite advanced in the direction of AI being used for medical things, but this now is branching out into this brave new world thing. So he's got permission now. He's got approval to start doing brain implants.
Well, not in my brain, Jan. He doesn't have approval or permission.
No, but it's already happened with what they call it, prosthetic limbs, and the man who couldn't walk. There's great strides in like AI interpreting electrical brain activity.
Well, that's great. If you want to be a Terminator, then you go right ahead.
Affirmative.
No, and they're using them all for experiments. Like they're monitoring the brains of people. Some in America,
right.
They put implants in their brains.
Well, that's great, and I wish them all the best. But what's your point about this?
Well, I'm just saying that we're already so far in advance of going into this brave new world. In the field of medicine, it's really quite exciting.
Right.
But for this other thing that, like Musk has, I find that really quite frightening. Wanting to.
Well, I find
put in
Elon
brain
Musk. I
implants.
find Elon Musk frightening. Billionaires used to be philanthropists. They used to do good work. They used to build wings on libraries and universities, and they used to build science centres. They used to have their name chiselled in the stone of the wall of those buildings, but they spent a lot of money on doing what an ordinary person might call a good thing with the money that they have avoided paying in taxes. But what billionaires appear to be doing now is, and I'm sorry to put it like this, waving their willies at each other.
Disgusting.
By seeing who's got the biggest rocket that they can fire into space. What's the point of that? Why don't we try fixing the problems that are here down on Earth before we blast off into space to ruin another planet? Just a thought. Thanks a lot, Jan. 0345 6060 973.
This is LBC. This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
You're joking.
0345 6060 973. Josie says, Donald Trump's mugshot. If a crime had been committed and a witness was asked to give a description of the crook so that a composite sketch could be made, one would only have to draw a circle and colour it in with orange. New Forest, hello, Paul.
Oh, hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can, go ahead.
Oh, how are you doing? Right. Are you well?
Yeah, no. Thanks for asking.
No. Oh, yeah, I guess that's what I was talking about. Well, many happy returns for whenever your birthday is or was.
Cheers.
I turned 50 the other day, which...
50 years old?
Thank you. No, it was about the glass thing, actually. I was very kindly, during lockdown, I was sent some Fortnum and Mason stuff. I think it was old. Somebody didn't want for Christmas, and I accidentally swallowed a little bit of glass out of one of the jars, and it got me to thinking about Monsieur Mange 2. Do you remember him?
With a wafer thin mint.
No. Monsieur Mange 2 was a crazy French guy who had a thing called pica. And
a thing called what?
At an early age, it's called pica. It's a strange thing that kids normally sort of pick up at an early age, where they eat something strange, and most people get over it. I mean, like my mum used to eat coal, and I used to eat cat food.
Oh.
And, you know, when you're little,
cat food? What does that taste like? Chicken?
That's quite nice. Yeah.
It can't be. It can't possibly be nice. I mean, it smells awful.
Well, I can't remember really, because it was when I was little. But most people grow out of it. But Monsieur Mange 2, he was very famous in the 70s and 80s.
Michel Lotito is his actual name.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. He began eating unusual stuff at the age of 9 and grew up to perform his act involving the consumption of metal, glass, rubber and other materials. He disassembled, cut up and consumed items such as bicycles, shopping carts, televisions, beds and a Cessna 150.
He ate a whole plane.
A plane.
So I was just going to say, you're probably going to be all right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, he ate that. I think it took him a few years to eat that plane. But
I would imagine so. Yeah, I mean, it's more than you could eat between meals without ruining your appetite. That's for sure.
What do you reckon he'd have for a starter? To eat a
starter,
like a motorbike.
Yeah,
maybe.
The bike he took to the plane. Yeah. I'm looking at a picture of him. He looks in rude health. He doesn't look like a person who eats glass and metal all day long.
I think he died of natural causes. I don't think it was a food. It was a food issue. It was something to do with his, like, extra sort of. He had extra thick kind of gullet and stomach lining and things.
He died of natural causes on June the 25th, 2007, 10 days after his 57th birthday.
Okay, well, he lived to a ripe old age. But
Yeah, of natural causes. Natural causes caused by eating 45 door hinges, 18 bicycles, 15 shopping carts, 7 TV sets, 6 chandeliers, 2 beds and a pair of skis. He ate a pair of skis. Why would you do that? I mean, who? Okay, so it was for the consumption of an audience, but who would want to see somebody do that? That's what I don't get. He also ate 1 computer, 1 Cessna 150 light aircraft, a waterbed, 500 metres of steel chain, all at once, 1 coffin, a Guinness Award. So presumably Guinness Book of Records awarded him a brass plaque, and he ate it. What a man. Well, thanks for pointing that out to me, Paul. Now I feel much better. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. It does feel as though it's sort of lodged about halfway down and it's trying to make its way back up. But like I said, you know me, never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Let's have Rochester, Lulu.
Hello, darling.
Lulu.
How are you?
Great, mate.
Happy birthday week.
Thanks.
Hope you've had a lovely... Was it yesterday, your birthday?
It was Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday. Lovely. I think you might have had the same birthday as Madonna yesterday.
As who?
The Queen. Madonna.
Who?
Queen Madonna.
Oh, Madonna. Madonna. Right.
I missed your program.
Wow, very, very bad line, Lulu. We're going to have to call you back. All right, we'll call Lulu back. See what it is that she has to say. 0345 6060 973. Mark texts, there's a new TikTok trend of parents cracking eggs open on the heads of their darling little toddlers. That's had over 670 million views. I guess brain trauma and infecting your kids with salmonella is worth a few likes on social media. Of course. They love it. I like the videos I've seen lately of cats experiencing themselves in the mirror for the very first time. There's an absolutely brilliant one of a cat which is surprised at its own ears. Have you seen it? Look it up on the World Wide Web, I double dare you. A cat notices it's got ears for the first time and can't believe it. Funny stuff. All right, Lulu's back. Hello.
Oh, hello, darling.
Wow, much
Can
better.
you hear me?
Yes, much better.
I moved a fraction. Isn't that weird?
You did what?
Your glamour. I've just moved this tiny fraction, and now you can hear me.
Oh.
Mm. So, you've put me on my track because I was going to talk to you about lots of other things, but that guy who was talking about the man who ate strange things made me think about people who are sexually attracted to inanimate objects. You know about that, don't you?
Attracted to?
Yes.
What, in a sensual way?
Disgusting. Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
A disgusting way, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, there was some woman who fell in love with the Golden Gate Bridge, you know. I mean, what is wrong with people? I just despair. I want to leave this planet sometimes. Anyway, I wanted to say...
Hang on a minute. She fell in love with a bridge?
Yep. And then there was another woman who fell in love with a Ferris wheel on a fairground. Yeah, there's a documentary about it a few years ago. I mean, these people are just crazy.
Well, not necessarily. They're just different.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, to each their own. I can't bear Richie Sunak.
Yeah.
Did you hear this week how he sold off 2 massive NHS contracts to his American mates without going through Parliament or anything? The man's a crook.
Well, these are all understandable opinions, but I'm not sure he sold it to his mates. Did he? Actual
Peter
friends?
Thiel and somebody, Bradbury. They're 2 of his ex-banker mates. Peter Thiel was the one who said, we have a Stockholm Syndrome relationship with the NHS.
Hang on. Can I help you?
I'm meant to be doing AP4.
Oh, well, I don't know what that means, but we're on the air. The red light on the outside means we're actually on the air now. You press the green button, and that'll let you out.
Is it not supposed to be in here? Where are they
I don't know, and I don't care. You must leave right now. This happens every now and again. Why does this keep happening to me? And I'm blaming you, Lulu.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Nick. I don't want any nastiness to befall you.
Right.
Because I love you.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Lulu. Thanks for that.
Before I go, Nick, can I
Yes.
just ask you if you've managed to see Oppenheimer yet?
No, I have not.
Oh, it's a fabulous film.
Is it?
It's amazing. I learned a lot. And I tell you what, I went on a Monday morning. There was me and two other people in the whole cinema. So
Well,
think on.
that sounds perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
Thanks for the good tip, Lulu. Monday morning, you say. Yeah, there's a famous incident, which I made a whole podcast about. Some bloke burst into this studio before and said something to the order of, I'm supposed to be in here. And I said, politely raising a finger of complaint, yes, but I'm on the air now. Would you mind leaving? And he didn't want to. And, responded in the negative. And so I got a little bit irate and told him to get out. And his response was, I'm on the air. And somebody burst into the studio past the big red sign that said, but it's a big red sign.
Warning, warning.
It says, we are on the air now. Do not come into this studio. And he burst in anyway and got the hump when I told him to leave. All right, mate, keep your hair on. Like that. Now, that wasn't exactly how it went down just now, but there was an alien apparition in this studio. Just burst in here as though, as though the on-air sign is, I don't know, maybe it's not written big enough. Maybe the red light isn't red enough. Oh, my God. Is it me, or is this show bizarre today?
We're having a bit of an evening of it,
aren't we just? Who was that?
I think a new assistant producer. not
Oh,
someone that I've ever
an
met
assistant producer, right, because that's what this show needs, an assistant. Well, put her on the air for a while and see what happens. Couldn't be any better. Couldn't be any worse. An Australian woman has opened up about her bizarre relationship with a bridge that she married 6 years ago. Jodie Rose from Sydney first met Le Pont du Diable, the Devil's Bridge, on the Tech River in France somewhere. She said she fell in love with the stone structure, and the couple, as in her and the bridge, got married in front of 14 guests at a service blessed by the mayor of the neighbouring town. And there she and the bridge are. Don't they look like a happy couple?
No.
No, the bridge had nothing to do with it. She says he is handsome. He, the bridge. Well, I'm glad that they're doing so well. Nothing makes sense on this show, and it's probably my fault. So I apologise.
I am very sorry that I screwed up. Totally I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
Very, very apologetic. 0345 6060 973, just past 12:30 on LBC. The news headlines with Darryl Jackson.
Leading Britain's conversation. Nick Abbott. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
This is absolute tosh.
Approximately how many times has the Nick Ferrari show been invaded by an alien?
Less than this.
Yeah, less than this one. Can you believe that? I am stunned. Like, I'm not here suffering enough. When somebody bursts into this studio and starts questioning me while I'm on the air. Can you believe that?
No.
Nick texts, Hartwig Fisher, the director of the British Museum, has stood down with immediate effect today using the Nadine Dorris calculator. How many monthly paychecks is he likely to pick up until he eventually leaves his job? Well, using the Nadine Dorris calculator, let's ask a numbers expert.
And one.
More.
Two.
More than that.
6 million.
6 million paychecks. That's correct. Has anybody found Nadine Dorris yet? Chris says, happy birthday, Nick. I'm concerned with the glass in the throat situation. Have you had lunch with anyone with a Russian accent? Maybe Rootin' Tootin' Shootin' Putin has gifted you a birthday present.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Vlad. What with you and the undesirable alien invading this show, it's amazing I'm still on the air. It's amazing I'm so cheerful. Essex, hello, Sally.
Hi, Nick.
Sally.
Hi. Nick, I've been a long-time listener, and I'm really, really nervous talking to you, but I have been listening for quite a while, and also trying to introduce my children listening.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I wanted to say that you've got a really, really nice, soothing laugh, and your voice is absolutely amazing.
Well, this will be the last evening that you hear it, because that piece of glass that I swallowed is going to be scything through my vocal cords as I sleep.
No, it is good to hear your voice. Thank you.
Well, appreciate it, Sally.
You're welcome.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Great. There you are, you see. A perfect call. She came in, she said what she wanted to say, and she knew what her time was up, and when it was, she left. Appreciate it, Sally. Thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. Ladbroke Grove. Hello, Vicky.
Hi.
Vicky.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry. I wasn't warned that you were about to do me, so I wasn't prepared.
Excuse me?
I wanted to say a few things, actually. First of all, about Donald Trump's hilarious mugshot.
Yeah.
If you don't want to look like a criminal, I mean, that is a perfect example of somebody who looks like a mass murderer. I mean, terrifying. I wouldn't want to see him up a dark alley.
He does look like a Batman villain, doesn't he? He looks like the
Ridiculous.
penguin. It looks like the penguin. Yeah.
He looks like a caricature.
But I don't understand why he's got a mugshot and they're taking him from above. I mean, he's got his chin down, so he's looking up through his eyebrows. That is not a mugshot. A mugshot should be plain, straight ahead, against a board that shows you how tall you are. How is that a mugshot?
That's what I was also wondering. Why wasn't there that ruler thing that they normally have?
Yeah.
That shows you how tall you are. And also, just like when you go and have your passport or anything, you can't pull a face.
No.
You've got to look directly at it. Why was he not treated the same way?
I don't know. Neither was anybody who was arrested alongside him for a similar or related crime. All of those mugshots from all of those people, like his comedy legal team, those people, they're either smiling or they're looking off to one side, or none of them look like mugshots to me.
Oh, I haven't seen those. I'm going to go and look them up afterwards.
Yeah, look them up on the World Wide Web.
It does seem very strange that he was allowed to do that.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was, the Spanish kiss. I don't understand why everyone's so upset about it. I mean, he should apologise. No, he should apologise. Clearly, he was really excited that they'd won. Really excited, and in the heat of the moment, he kissed her and.
Okay. Well, if it had been the men's team, would he have been in a similar state of excitement and kissed the men on the lips?
I don't know.
Yeah, probably not.
You see a lot of that. Well, you do see a lot of that in the when somebody scores a goal, you see a lot of kissing going on between the men.
On the lips.
I don't know. I think you do.
I've never seen that in my life. Well, maybe once, maybe twice at most.
But even so, is it really that much of a crime that he should lose his job? I mean,
well, he should
apologise. And if he is contrite about it, if he is, I think I heard on your show earlier that somebody was saying he didn't seem to feel repentant at all. Right. Well, that's a bit of a different story. But I mean, he should have rung her up and said, look, I'm really sorry. I don't mean anything by it. I was just overexcited. I'm sorry. And that would have done for me.
Yeah, well, not for me. No, I think the man's... Yeah, he seems like not the kind of person who should be in charge of the women's game or any kind of game. If the women want him out, he should get out.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know much more about him other than that particular incident. Yeah. I've no idea how he normally conducts himself and whether he's done other things before that have added to it. But the last thing I'd like to say before I go is I absolutely love your caller, Jan.
and I really think she should have her own show. And if you can't do that, can you not do like Caller of the Week or something where we just have Jan? Because I often listen just in the hope she's going to ring up because she's hilarious.
Well, Vicky,
She's
I
such a personality.
I do something of that type every week. I do a best of old shows. Now, whether she is or is not on that podcast just depends on which old shows I'm trawling through for clips. But it's called the Nick Abbott Habit. It is available on an internet near you. Ask for it by name. The Nick Abbott Habit.
The Nick Abbott Habit, but is it when you say it's old shows, you're talking about just like the last week, or are you meaning
usually
it could be a year old?
Many years old, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely look up that. Thank you.
No, thank you. Every now and again, I will put a call from a call that particularly tickles me from a very, very recent show. I don't think it's going to happen with this show, not this particular one. But it does come out on a Monday. It's a half an hour of concentrated amusement. I think you'll love it. It's called the Nick Abbott Habit. Write that down, Vicky. 0345 6060 973. Hang on a minute. Oh, boy. What happens, actually? Okay, let's ask this bloke to see what happened when he swallowed something he shouldn't oughta. Dublin. Hello, Derek.
Well, that could be taken anyway, Nick. Anyway, how are you?
Great.
Not good, it sounds.
Well, yeah, not good, no.
All right, I'll tell you my story. So I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago. I was in Munich, and I had a kebab. I had never had a kebab before. And I ate the kebab, and it was very nice. Had a glass of water, whatever. Heading back to the hotel, and then I had this irritation in my throat, and I could feel something. I tried to clear it, couldn't get rid of it. This went on for a few hours, and then I got worried about it, thinking, I think I've swallowed a piece of glass, exactly like you.
Yeah.
So I phoned the equivalent of 999, and I said, look, sorry for disturbing you. I think we got a bit of glass stuck in my throat. And they told me to go to the nearest A&E, and I told them where I was, and they told me where the hospital was. I went along to the hospital, and I got to see an ENT specialist who happened to be on duty. This was 9:30 at night. I couldn't believe it. There was a guy there working. And he had a look in, and he said, you've got a piece of glass in your throat. I said, oh, dear. So he got this, what looked like a very long tweezers. He put it in. He took it out, and he said, oh, it's not glass. It's a hair.
What?
That's what I said. What? He said, it's a hair. So he put it on a piece of cotton wool, and he showed it to me, and sure enough, it was like a little bristle from a beard. And I said, well, I just had a kebab.
Oh.
And he said, it must have been a hairy kebab. I said, no, the guy who gave it to me was very closely trimmed, his beard. And I reckoned he had probably just got it trimmed that day, maybe, or I don't know, and it got into the food. People are always finding hairs in their food. I even found a fingernail clipping.
Oh.
The kind of serving of beans once in a restaurant.
Well,
but at any rate, this thing was lodged in there, and it was bloody painful.
Well, I can imagine.
So, it could be a hair, I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it could be, yeah. But...
So were you kissing anybody hairy?
I have the option of either living with it and potentially dying, or I could go to A&E. I think I'll choose the dying part.
Don't die. We'd miss you. But it is a bit of a nuisance, I can tell you that. And I was glad I went. Now, I still had the sensation of it in my throat for a few hours afterwards.
Yeah.
But at least I knew the guy had taken it out because he showed it to me.
Right.
But there was something there. I wasn't imagining it. And it was a hair. Yeah. And it was a bristle. It was a hair from a beard. It's exactly what it was.
That's amazing that he could find something like that.
Yep. Well, he had this big thing on his head. Whatever you call that thing that
I'm
EMT guys
sorry
have.
to hear that. Oh, I see. Piece of equipment. Right. Yeah, I was going to say he should get that looked at by a medical professional. Yeah. All right. Thanks for the good news, Derek.
I thought I'd ring in and tell you.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Elaine says, "What the hecky thump is going wrong with these ULEZ bleaters?" This is in relation to a call I had some while ago. She says, a guy on LBC earlier threatened to get his old classic vehicle, which is exempt, out of his garage and will drive that around in protest. even though it emits loads of foul, noxious fumes. So he'll poison all of us in a spate of childish, churlish spite. How petulant and immature. Doesn't bode well for our future progress, says Elaine. No, that's correct. It doesn't. And Gordon says, seriously, though, how much entertainment has Trump given us since he first came down that staircase in 2016? Well, that is true about Donald Trump. I mean, he might not be a very nice person, but at least he's funny.
Donald Trump is not a nice person.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Come on, we're running late.
Yes, we are indeed running late. 0345 6060 973. Bournemouth. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Nick. How you doing?
All right.
You're not too well.
Well, it's not that I'm not well. It's just that I think I've swallowed something that I shouldn't oughta.
Yeah, you got me going there because I felt the same sort of thing once. So I've had a quick look online. I've done my research.
Yes.
And if it gets trapped in the esophagus, which appears to me that you're suffering, it could be dangerous. So if you start throwing up, having diarrhea, things like that, it's A&E. But if you pass it through, don't worry.
Right.
How's that? And a happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks very much. None of that sounds like what I want to hear, particularly the throwing up and the diarrhea part and the going to A&E. I don't want to do any of those things.
I completely understand, although there is an alternative. You can dial 111, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And they are very good. They will triage you on the phone, and if you need an ambulance, one will come up to the door.
An ambulance?
Yes.
I think that might be over the top.
First thing, yeah, but please look after yourself.
Okay, will do.
Also, what was the topic of tonight?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
All right, thanks a lot, Mike. We are in search of a topic. I'll come up with one any moment now. You wait. Rose text, the penguin story was unbearable. Did you hear about the penguin story? I read that one earlier on. Penguin story was unbearable. I switched over in time for Bach at the prom, but the music was unbearably beautiful. There's a lot of unbearable here. Not only was the penguin story unbearable, but the Bach music was unbearably beautiful, and all I could think about was the penguin chicks. When we finished killing off everything beautiful and miraculous and the earth becomes uninhabitable for us, no one will ever again hear the incomparable J.S. Bach. Well, that is true. When there's no more humans no more, what would be the point of playing it? Orchestras can stand down if they've got no audience. Russ says, no, a joke. Stop making a spectacle of yourself with all that talk of glass. Oh, blimey. Simon says, on a separate note, I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube of people getting insects removed from their ears. I think watching one video of someone getting an insect removed from their ear might be, you can mark that down as an error. But watching a lot of them, that seems like you've turned it into a hobby. He says, I can't believe how common it is. I can only assume these things crawl into their ears when they're asleep. A bit worrying, don't you think? Well, I'm worried now. Maidstone. Rob.
Morning, Nick. I'd like to pretend that I was worried about your sore throat, but I'm really worried about pet panto season.
About what?
Panto season.
I saw an advert for Christmas today.
Yeah, but you see, the problem is we've now had anti-gay story time protests in Liverpool, Manchester and Cardiff.
Yes.
And now they're beating up gay people outside drag clubs and attacking the Vivian in the street. How are we going to have panto if Widow Twanky's going to get slapped by a right-winger?
Well, that is a good point, yeah.
I mean, as a former drag queen, it terrifies me.
Does that mean you're a drag queen in recovery?
No, I wouldn't say recovery, just retirement. Because when you stop using condoms full of porridge for your tits and you've got moobs instead, you give up.
Right. I understood some of that.
Okay.
I think I was appalled by some of it, and the bits that I didn't understand sort of went by me, and I'm begging that you don't explain it to me. But, yeah, that is a good point. What's going to happen to Panto? Because you can't dress up as Widow Twanky no more. That is an excellent point there, Rob. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. It feels like it's gone down like a little bit, but it's sort of stuck about midway down. Now what? What do I do now? Shouldn't have eaten it in the first place, you idiot. Well, it was like halfway into a swallow, and I thought, oh, there's something in there. Having thought that I was just eating toast and jam, there's something in there that shouldn't be in there. And I could have made a spectacle of myself and coughed it up. But there was only me there to see it. But I thought, no, I'll just swallow it and it'll be all right. What an idiot. Phil says that tiny rump of people who complain about everything. This is back to the ULEZ chap some while ago. Gosh, seems like blooming ages ago, doesn't it? That tiny rump of people who complain about everything are the same ones that keep re-moaning about Brexit, says Philip. Yet the difference between people who moan about Brexit is that there is nothing good about Brexit. At all. Nothing. We had an entire top-hatted twiglet whose job it was to come.
I don't know anything.
He asked the people from the Sun to try to figure out what it was. What got dumped?
I'll tell you after.
Okay. It wasn't me, was it?
Yes.
It was. Was it me saying rump?
No.
No? Okay. Something else. Who's going to tell me about it afterwards? Wow. I am out of control on this show, apparently. I said something that, it just went by me. I had no idea. Yeah, the thing about Brexit is that there is no good side. Whereas the ULEZ charge, there is a good side. There is an upside to fewer polluting cars, but there is no upside to Brexit. Not now, not ever, never. And I will continue bemoaning about Brexit until some positives hove into view, which I've penciled in for never. West Devon, hello, Rose.
Oh, hello, Nick. I really rang to say that, oh dear, I've got cold feet now, that you slightly missed the point at the beginning of my text.
Slippers?
Yes, I am actually wearing bare feet, yes. Funnily enough. The two unbearables were deliberate. It's not always wrong to have...
Oh, that was your text that I just read out, right.
Yes. I was in quite a state for a few minutes, I have to say, at that time.
The penguin story is very, very sad. Tens of thousands of little chicks died because the ice underneath them melted before they could get their swimming feathers on, so they are no more.
Yes, and how much the parents feel. I mean, it's all horrendous.
Right.
All those. Anyway, so I thought, I can't listen to this. And I was going to switch over just to hear the Brandenburg Concerto No. 3, you see. Mm-hmm. I'm awfully sorry, in the middle of your show, but I had decided to do that. So I switched over, and it was unbearably beautiful. That was my point.
Right.
Another unbearable. You see what I mean?
Yes.
And, of course, the penguins are unbearably beautiful. And all this stuff that we're getting rid of is, and there's so much beauty and so much miracle, including Bach and all the rest and all the other wonderful things that human beings can do.
Mm-hmm.
We won't be here. None of these things will ever be heard again or seen again or read again, whatever we've written. And all these glorious creatures that we're killing off won't be here. And I mean, it's just devastating. What a lovely way to end your show.
Yeah, I know. The extinction of everything that we know and love. Yeah. Still, at least we'll have enjoyed all of that oil money. Oh, no, that's right. We didn't even get any of that.
No. And do people... I wonder how much people are aware of this. I'm beginning to wonder about it, Nick, how much people actually do look around. Just very quickly, I was standing on the hill where these swallows are that I've mentioned to you before, and it was stunning. I mean, there were 20 of them just whizzing about this little building, above it, above it, round it, down the side of the hill, going into the cliffside to get food. It's enormous speed and whiz, 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 zoom, swoop.
How can they think
About
that fast?
20 of them.
That's what blows my mind. They think so fast they can fly through a tree without bashing their little beaks on it. It's just mystifying.
Well, it's beyond thought, isn't it? I think, you see, we think in terms of this brain of ours, which thinks.
Very, very
but
slow.
they just do it. You know what I mean? They just do it. Some people are like that. Yeah, instinct. I mean, I knew jazz musicians once, and they were a bit like that, to do it, to try and get in the way, that type of attitude.
The best jazz musicians can fly straight through a tree without hitting any branches.
Well, indeed.
That is true.
Yes. Because I spend ages around there, you see, and keep climbing back up this hill, because I can't tear myself away and from these birds. And then people are sort of coming in little groups, there'll be a couple, and then there'll be a gap, and there'll be 3 more coming, probably tourists at this time of year, I should think, they've come to see. And they will stand there, and I'm thinking, have they literally not seen these birds? Honestly, nobody looks at them. They don't appear to see them. I mean, even out of the peripheral vision,
why are they standing there?
Why is that?
Well, why are they standing there? Aren't they looking at the birds?
They're looking at the view.
Oh, the view.
The extensive view below and all round.
Right, well, that's what I'd be looking at.
Yeah, sure, but you couldn't miss the birds. I mean, sometimes they just whiz straight past them. I just thought it just seemed a bit relevant, because I thought I'd bring that up, and I just wonder how much, if people aren't really caring about what's around us,
Right. Well, you certainly have ended this show on a positive, up and happy note.
I'm sorry.
No, I take all the blame.
Oh, well, yes, and so you should. But you didn't read the bit at the end where I said, I've come back now to write this, and you've cheered me up with your humour.
Right.
That's what I said, didn't I?
Well, you did say that, but I don't really recognise humour as being a part of this particular show. Perhaps
you always manage some. You always manage some humour. I mean, look at that line. What was it? I sent it to my sister. When you've eaten glass, you pretty much can't think about anything else.
Yeah, that's true. You try it, Rose, and you can thank me later. No, wait, I've changed my mind. You can thank me now.
Thank you.
All right, gotta go. Cheers, Rose. Now, thanks to everybody for the texts and tweets and such, particularly the ones I didn't get to. I will try and get to them this evening, as assuming that I am in a fit state to return. The show will recommence tonight at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I've only been doing 10 to 1 for my entire life, and I can't even get that right. 10. You can catch up on Global Player, any of this show, if you are so inclined. We stick it up as a podcast. It's available on Global Player as a podcast show. We take the news and the ads out. If you have Global Player, then that's just fine. Ask for it to play Nick Abbott, the Whole Show podcast. If you haven't got Global Player, you can get it for free from the App Store or globalplayer.com. Coming up at 4, Ollie Dugmore, right now. Clyde Ball, 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 right now.